Oh, for you, like dealing with
Yeah,
this?
dealing with that.
Ah, okay.
Okay, with it being 7 o'clock, I am going to call this Wednesday, May 13th meeting of the Planning Board to order. It is 7 o'clock on Wednesday, May 13th. My name is Chris LaValle, and I'm the chair of the board. Tonight we'll be following the posted agenda. The meeting tonight is both in person and via Zoom. If Zoom fails for any reason, we will continue in person. The meeting is being televised live and recorded via Chelmsford Telemedia and will be available on their website and on YouTube. First item on the agenda is public input. Public input is limited to statements from the public related to any issues within our jurisdiction that are not currently the subject of a pending public hearing before the board. Public comment on any pending public hearing shall only be heard during those hearings. So are there any members of the public who wish to speak during public input? Anyone on Zoom, Evan? No. There being none, we will move to the next.
Again, Chris.
Oh,
Go ahead.
is
You had
there
your hand
someone
up?
who wishes to speak?
Yes, I have
Can you come up to the podium
please. I have a question.
and state your name and address for the record, please?
Good evening, Board. My name is Stefan Vermogo. I live at 5 Lady Slipper Lane, a budding property owner of the proposed subdivision.
Yep, so if you're speaking on that project, we'll give you a chance to speak during
Okay.
that
Thank
section
you.
of the meeting. Yep. Okay, so there being none, we will move to the new public hearings. First is 9 Lady Slipper Lane, and Marcy, can you read the?
Sure. So first on the agenda is 9 Lady Slipper Lane. The applicant, Donna Coolis, requests a 3-lot definitive subdivision approval, creating a private way for 2 new single-family residence lots, one of which will also contain an ADU. The applicant requests definitive subdivision approval under subdivision control laws and rules and regulation governing the subdivision of land in the town of Chelmsford. The project calls for the construction of an existing paper roadway, Chestnut Hill Lane, the associate infrastructure to serve as frontage for the 2 new residential lots. A list of waivers for roadway construction has also been requested. This site is in an RB residential zoning district. The existing residential lot is approximately 7.52 acres, as shown on the assessors parcel ID map 91, block 344, lot 9.
Thank you. And since we do have a lot of people in the public today, I just wanted to mention the process that we do go through for public hearings. The applicant will first give the presentation. Marcy, the clerk, will read letters from the departments into the record. We'll do a round of Q&A from the board. The applicant, I'll give the opportunity to provide any additional information. And then I will have the public provide input as people desire. This likely will continue to another meeting. So I want to assure the public that there'll be plenty of chances to speak if you don't get a chance to say everything you want to tonight. And then after the public gets to speak, we will again go back to the applicant for any additional information, then the board for additional information, and then likely continue to the next meeting. So with that, I turn it over to the applicant.
Good evening, Mr. Chair and members of the Planning Board. My name is Doug Hausler with offices here in Chelmsford, and I represent the applicant, Donna Coolis, and her husband, Doug Kalenda, with respect to this definitive subdivision plan. The ad that was published says quite a bit, which helps. The property contains 7.52 acres of land. zoned in an RB district. One of the two new proposed lots will have an ADU associated with that particular lot. The concept is to allow the parents, Doug and Donna, to subdivide their property, have each of their sons own a separate single-family lot, and that they would construct their ADU on one of their sons' lots, so they could all live next door to each other. A dream most of us probably have. So we're in the RB district, and the proposed use as residential is allowed as a matter of right. You'll probably see from the plans that are put up on the screen as we go through, this subdivision, the two lots meet, and the proposed houses will meet all of the setback requirements, all the dimensional requirements of the zoning bylaw. So frontage, front yard setback, rear, side yards, height, floor area ratio, all of these are satisfied. So far, so good. This is pretty much a vanilla subdivision, to be honest. Each lot's going to be served by a septic system. Tests have been done. Brian Malisi, who's the project engineer, can address some of those issues when he comes to speak. I also have Anthony G. here, who is he's our wetland scientist with Goddard, and he has coordinated all the efforts associated with the Concom hearings and findings that they need to make. And he'll be able to answer questions about that as well, to the extent it's within the purview of your board. I don't want to do a Concom hearing and a planning board meeting. We are not seeking any special permits, so it's a rather limited list of waivers that we're seeking, most of which to deal with the street. Basically, elimination of curbs, elimination of sidewalks, reduced width to 22 feet for Chestnut Hill Lane, given that there are only going to be two homes that are going to be really, two homes and an ADU that are going to be using that lane on a consistent basis. It's as rural a road as you could possibly imagine. We had already spoken with or obtained feedback from some of the safety departments. My understanding, police has not sent a letter in yet, but we're not anticipating any kind of issues there. The fire department, we did expect and we did receive a letter for their comments, and they are supportive of the gravel road approach as long as it meets their load requirements, which they say it does. So that's another benefit, and I would add to that now, get it out in the front. The gravel road's going to be the better choice in this instance, because you'll hear a lot of people being concerned about drainage and such, and the gravel road allows for natural drainage versus an impervious area. So we're dealing with two lots, 900 linear feet. So I just ask that you keep that in mind. We agree with the conditions that the fire department has listed in its letter. So we would ask that if when you take a vote and if you decide to approve, that those conditions be incorporated into your decision. There were some comments that were already made via various letters about maintenance of the road and legal responsibility for this road. I have already drafted a homeowner association trust. Even though it's going to be among family members, this will obviously go on in perpetuity. It's a private road, essentially. And that homeowners association will deal with all the issues of maintenance and keeping everything clear, keeping any kind of screening that's required, and any other conditions that are required through this planning board approval process that need to be addressed as a whole for the subdivision. We will incorporate into that homeowners trust. So we're hopeful that that will address some of the concerns that people may have. It will certainly, that homeowners trust will certainly address the issues of any of the fire department's concerns or police department as well, because it's common that a homeowners association does just that. It makes sure things are safe. You'll see on the plans that there's a proposed T turnaround that the fire department will be using, and they found that to be more than acceptable given the width of it. We're not suggesting that Chestnut Hill Lane become a full street, meaning a thoroughfare from one end of Cantor all the way out to Pine Hill Road. The reason is we don't want it to become a cut-through. It just wouldn't be safe, especially when you get out to Pine Hill Road. Your sight distances vanish, literally. when you're coming out. If you were looking left or right, you could have a serious problem. So by doing that, yes, I'm sorry.
So, can you just show me on the map where this is? And then,
Sure.
I think I know where Pine Hill and
Well, Pine Hill's way down here.
oh, okay, what's that, okay,
So Chestnut Hill Lane
yep,
starts at Cantor, goes all the way through, continues, and it would wiggle its way, and would go all the way out to Pine Hill Road.
okay.
In fact, there's a fence there now.
So where's the gravel road gonna be? Sorry.
This was just being highlighted.
Oh, okay,
So by doing it this way, we have basically a dead end with a T turnaround.
okay, so that you're gonna have a dead end there.
Exactly, we're not gonna improve it
Okay.
past that.
Okay, got
For
it.
safety reasons, it makes the most sense.
Yep, okay. Thank you for orienting me, because I was thinking totally different
I could see
direction.
you, sorry. Let me keep going through here. The Draft Homeowners Association probably should not have to address sidewalks. I hope you wouldn't ask for a sidewalk on a 2-lot subdivision. Anything's possible, but I hope not. Our detailed list of waivers was submitted when we filed. Again, they are almost entirely related to curbing, berms, sidewalks, diameter of the road, finished pavement, dead ends. Everything is dealing with the street. We had filed a notice of intent with the Conservation Commission. We've had one public hearing already, and at that meeting, Concom asked for a peer review to be conducted. It has been conducted. The peer review report has been delivered to the Concom as of last Tuesday, which is why we actually continued the hearing that was scheduled for last night, because you have to have your response in by a week ahead of the Concom hearings. So there's no way we could reply in 2 hours. So we continued it, and we will be heard in 2 weeks. Anthony can address the specific issues of that to the extent you desire to hear from him on those issues, but needless to say, there was a list of things, both I'll call technical and some more substantive. Every single one of those issues has been addressed in Anthony's report back to the Concom. We'll be submitting that either probably tomorrow or the following day, so that they'll have plenty of time to review it. But it addresses every single issue that Concom had raised. That reply addresses all of those particular issues, as well as many of the comments from the abutters during the Concom session. One of them had a question about, did we provide proper notice? I've given the green cards, which Anthony, I've handed them to him to give to the Concom. So we sent out a certified mailing to everybody in advance of the hearing, just like we did here. So there was plenty of notice. Prior to tonight, I had submitted a letter to your board addressing a bunch of the issues that I've heard from various abutters. So I want to try to keep the playing field level and straight, and not deal with any kind of emotional responses to things. I know people don't like changes. I'm just dealing here with the facts and what I think the law is, and I put it down in writing to submit for your consideration. And I'm highly, highly confident that your town council, if it was even involved in this, will confirm everything I've written in that letter legally. One of the questions was, does the applicant have the right to use the entire length of Chestnut Hill Lane? Because one of the abutters, I believe, made a comment, and they say, well, you don't own this apron. That's true, we do not own the apron. We own from my client's property line to the midpoint of this, because it's a paper street essentially. That's in terms of actual fee ownership. But the right to use this entire length, not just here, but all the way through, everybody that abuts that has the right to use it. There's no question about it under Massachusetts law. That's the whole purpose. It's all addressed in the derelict fee statute. I've cited it. I've given you the case law on that. I think most of you are very familiar with that already from prior hearings. But I want to make it clear that we have the right not only just to use that for access and for frontage, but under the case law, and I've submitted it, We have the right to install all the utilities through it, electric, gas, cable, you name it, water. We can do all that. And it goes even further, because one person has expressed concern that they own a tree that's in, and I'm presuming it's somewhere between Cantor and here, that there's some tree somewhere in the middle of this lane. Under the case law, if the tree is in the lane, it really belongs to everybody, and we have the right to remove it because it's defeating the purpose of what that lane is. The lane is designed for passage. It's not designed to grow trees. So under the case law, we have a right to cut shrubs, trees, plants, anything that's in that, if we're improving it for purposes of using it as access, which everybody can use along that way. And I've cited the case law on that. It's a Shapiro case in 1987. So we have the right to use it for travel rights. We have the right to, basically to use it, anything in common for access and travel. We are allowed to build anything within that particular lane as long as it's not a permanent structure on top of it that prevents anybody else from using it. We're just making it better. And there's a presumption to that effect. Some people wanted to know, do we have the legal right, or what is our legal right to rely on this road for access? The case law says the subdivision plans that have been approved by previous boards over the years in Chelmsford, starting in 1950, and then done again in 1999, and done again in 2001 or 2, there are at least 3 subdivision plans of record, and all of them define my client's property rights by defining the western boundary of Chestnut Hill Lane. That is it's actually in the deed description. So because of that, it's a deed by easement, by implication, it's automatic. It's not gray, it's black and white, which is great. It makes life easier for all of us. Anyone has the right to use the private way and make reasonable repairs and improvements. I've cited the case laws on that. And such reasonable repairs include paving the easement and such other improvements as would be consistent with principles of safety. And that's exactly what we're all talking about. Clearing limbs from a roadway, smoothing the surface of a way, placing gravel on a road, or even paving a road have all been deemed as reasonable repairs and necessary for the enjoyment of the easement. So we have the right to do that. That's based on a 1981 case called Glenn versus Poole. The installation of the septic systems have been deemed permissible pursuant to the statute as well. There's 2 theories. We have an easement by estoppel or easement by implication. Either way, we have the right to use the land. My clients don't have to own the entirety of the land, of the lane. Some people were concerned about traffic. Respectfully, not making it a throughway should solve that problem, and that's what we've always proposed. The source deed goes from 1950 from Mr. Sheehan to Charles Coolis, Donna's father, and that property has been further subdivided over the years. Lady Slipper Lane was that entire subdivision was part of this original tract. Some people were concerned about the width of the proposed roadways. The fire department's already addressed and says that they believe that what's being proposed is more than adequate, and they just want to make sure that whatever type of road, of gravel road that we put in, that it meets the fire department specs, which we can. And Brian can address that more particularly. I could be wrong. I think this is relatively straightforward. I'm not going to get into vernal pool theories and any type of, I'll call it Concom issues. That discussion belongs at Concom, not before this board, in my opinion. I'll refrain from getting into that too deeply. I think we're going to have established that we meet all the criteria for a subdivision plan. The waivers are very minimal. I think there's going to be some discussion by your board about the use of gravel. I did a little research on my own, and I'm sure Brian Malisi, the engineer, can discuss it at much greater length. But everything supports using a gravel road in this instance because of the environmentally betterment of having drainage go through much more smoothly than having a real road with bituminous. No one wants to make this look more formal. We're trying to keep some of that rural feel to it. And these houses are going to be entirely consistent with other houses in the neighborhood. They're not McMansions. They're going to be nice-sized homes, but not overwhelming anybody. There'll be some screening involved so that people have a sense of privacy, both my client's property as well as their neighbors in the rear. And we're going to be happy to address any concerns you have. I'd like to ask Brian Malisi to address the technical components of the plan. And then Anthony can be here to answer any questions you have about wetland issues or that might come up during conversation with the abutters. Brian?
Good evening, Mr. Chair, members of the board. For the record, my name is Brian Malisi. Excuse me, I'm an engineer with Haley Ward, here representing the project. Council did a pretty good job. Didn't leave me a whole lot left to talk about, but I'll give it my best shot. So you see the roadway here in gray, that's the gravel driveway or the gravel roadway. The subdivision will be serviced by municipal water. We're bringing up a 6-inch line from Cantor Road. It dead ends with a hydrant for not only firefighting purposes, but water quality purposes as well, so that line can get flushed every now and then. The fact of the matter that two homes in an ADU aren't going to use a whole heck of a lot of water. That's why we went to a 6-inch to try to get it to flush a little bit. However, for maintenance purposes, there's a hydrant there to flush it. I believe the sewer moratorium is still in place in the town of Chelmsford, so these lots will have to be serviced by on-site septic systems. We did perform the soil testing required for the septic systems a little while ago. The testing was witnessed by an agent of the Board of Health. So it was all done on the up and up, and we did show the locations of the testing. The results of the testing are on the plans in one of the back sheets. We also showed the layout of the systems. I think I read a comment where the 4 septic systems are going to cause all sorts of effluent problems. What I did want to show is the primary area and the reserve area. Title V requires us to show a reserve area. That area does not get constructed until the primary area were to fail or something were to go wrong, but we need to show that the lots can accommodate a reserve area. Within that roadway, we're going to bring electric, we're going to bring gas. Everything will be below grade. There won't be any poles around. The proposed stormwater system that we've provided for the gravel roadway, utilizing one of the low-impact development techniques that are floated around in the town of Chelmsford. It's a gravel roadway, which reduces the amount of impervious area. It still needs to be a wearing surface that the fire department can travel on, emergency vehicles as well as the vehicles that are going to be serviced, going to and from the homes. I forget the number right off the top of my head, but it's within the fire department comment letter that just needs to serve. It needs to have a bearing capacity of X amount in order to hold to accommodate their largest or heaviest vehicle. Again, during the construction of the roadway, that can be fairly simply ascertained with some compaction testing. During that, reports can be given to the town, the fire department, whoever else would like to see that. I think the council said that we terminate the roadway with a T turnaround. The dimensions of that T turnaround are as prescribed in the subdivision regulations. I think the very last sheet of the subdivision plans, we show a swept path plan. You guys are very familiar with those. The fire department typically asks for one on every single project. We show how he gets in and out of Cantor Road, as well as turns around using that T turnaround. I should add that we do have a paved apron coming off of Cantor Road, just as vehicles such as a fire truck, if they're going to kind of make those maneuvers, we just want a little bit more of a wearing surface there. It's not on these plans quite yet. We have a kind of a whole host of revisions that we're going to be making, and not just after input received from you guys this evening, but from the Conservation Commission. But one of the things that we're bandying about is providing a paver, impervious paver type of driveway for both the driveways to the houses as well as the turnaround to provide a little bit more of a wearing surface, but not constitute a complete paved way that, again, would add impervious area to this. So the stormwater, if you notice some of the grading plans and some of the details, the grading of the roadway is what we call it's super elevated, which is just pitched to one side, such that the water runoff, stormwater runoff from the roadway will pitch to the west or to our side of the property and be intercepted by an infiltration trench in order to intercept that stormwater runoff and infiltrate it back into the ground. We did provide a profile. On the profile of that, of the proposed roadway, we try to stay very, very close to the existing roadway in order to not create any large cuts and fills and have a lot of earthwork that, that has to be entertained for the roadway itself. From a cut and fill analysis, for the roadway itself, we have 330 yards of cut. So that's fairly minor. There's a little bit more material that needs to be imported into the site for the development of the two lots. They are on a slope, and once we put the septic systems in, put the foundations in, there is going to be some material required to kind of grade the lots and make them habitable. I know this is not a Conservation Commission meeting, but you'll see on the plans there is the wetlands were located. The appropriate buffer zones were located from that. And one of the reasons for the lot cut up and the house placements, obviously, is to meet the Conservation Commission criteria of staying out of the 30-foot no-touch zone, keeping the structures at least a minimum of 50 feet away from those wetlands, and the septic systems are 100 feet away. So that's where the placement of the houses came. We put in kind of desirable footprints for the two lots. We wanted to show a real grading plan, both to this board and the Conservation Commission, to get an idea of what would be going on. I can dive into septic system design. I love that kind of stuff, but you guys probably don't want to hear that. I will say that both the two houses currently are either going to be 3 or 4 bedroom homes. However, we've designed the systems for 5 bedrooms, mostly because of the ADU. The ADU does have the right to tie into the, well, not say the existing septic system, but the proposed septic system, and it'll accommodate that extra bedroom from the ADU. So these septic systems will be fully compliant. Again, once following some of the input from this board, following the input from the Conservation Commission, we're kind of ready to go to pull those designs and submit them to the Board of Health. We have not done that yet, just in case anything kind of gets revised and twisted around. But there's that hierarchy of submittals and permitting. So I know I was probably very quick. I probably forgot a few things to tell you, but I'm sure it'll be flushed out during some of the questions. So thank you for your time.
No, I'll just wait. If the board had any questions for me, I'm here to answer them. Considering it's not a conservation commission hearing, I'll just leave it to you guys if you have any questions related to wetlands.
Okay, thank you. All right, Marcy, we have department letters.
Sure. All right, so our first one is from the Board of Health. It says, "Dear members of the Planning Board, this letter is submitted in reference to the proposed development project located at 9 Lady Slipper Lane. The applicant is requesting approval for a 3-lot definitive subdivision, which proposes the establishment of a private way to serve 2 newly created single-family residential lots. One of the proposed lots would also include an accessory dwelling unit. If the proposed development is unable to connect to town sanitary sewer systems, the development would necessitate the installation of on-site septic systems. Any such system must be designed and constructed in full compliance with the requirements of Title V of the State Environmental Code pursuant to 310 CMR 15 and successfully complete the Department of Health's application review and inspection process. Respectfully submitted, Donna Greenwood." We have one from the Chelmsford Water District. Dear members of the Planning Board, the Chelmsford Water District has no concerns with the proposed project at the location. If this project is approved, a representative should contact the district to obtain our rules and regulations, as well as our specifications and fees. Sincerely, Brendan Cantor. Oh, that's today's meeting. Sorry about that, that's the wrong page. All right, who's this one from? This one is from the Department of Public Works. From Sheila Joyce, says, the engineering department has performed a review of the definitive subdivision application submitted by applicant. The following contains the submissions were reviewed for appropriateness and method of accuracy, as well as for compliance with the Town of Chelmsford's Stormwater Bylaw, Town of Chelmsford Stormwater Management Regulation, and Division 3 Sewer Capacity and Connections Restrictions. The attached entitled 9 Lady Sipper Lane, Chestnut Hill Road Definitive Subdivision Application Packet, the engineering plans entitled Definitive Subdivision Plans for Chestnut Hill Lane in Chelmsford, Mass., March of 2026, and the attached entitled 9 Lady Slipper Lane, Chelmsford Hill Road Definitive Subdivision Waiver Requested. So clarification request. Clarification is requested by the DPW regarding ownership and rights of the private paper street, Chestnut Hill Lane. Site plans review, outstanding DPW engineering issues that were not addressed. Applicant to confirm HOA and procedures for trash disposal and pickup. If applicable, provisions for the enclosed dumpster pad and dumpster should be depicted upon the plan set. A long-term and perpetual care of the dumpster, including the emptying and enclosure, will be the responsibility of the property owner. Locations and procedures for snow storage and plowing of Chestnut Hill Lane should be depicted on the plans. During construction, care should be taken to maintain separation of at least 10 feet horizontally from the edge of the sewer services to the edge of the water services. Where a horizontal separation of 10 feet is not practical, both services can be installed closer to each other, but the water service must be 18 inches higher than the sewer services per DEP standards. See Massachusetts Water Laws, Chapter 9, Section 9.8. All existing and/or proposed utilities should be clearly and accurately labeled, size, materials, existing, proposed rims, inverts, etc. on the drawings, reflecting the most updated utility connections and sizing. Confirm location of the proposed 1-inch water services to the accessory dwelling unit. Cut and fill calculations shall be submitted for review. Location and size of public trees or statements of none. Any trees located in the town of Chelmsford by right-of-way that will need to be removed will require a tree hearing and meeting with the tree warden for approval prior to removal. Submit draft language regarding the access easement, including its purpose and parties responsible for ownership and maintenance. Include any existing easements on parcels of site plan. Include building foundations, locations, and elevation, top of the concrete and the slab on the site plan. Confer proper site distance and adequate distance between intersections for Chestnut Hill Lane, Cantor Road, and Thomas Drive. Pavement details for Cantor Road apron should include current Mass DOT super paved mixed designs. Sewer comment, coordinate with Board of Health to ensure all town standards are met for septic tank installation. Recommended stormwater management conditions. No stormwater calculations were submitted, no stormwater reviews conducted. A complete application for the land disturbance permit shall be filed with DPW approval of permits and must be obtained prior to the commencement of the land disturbing activities. Disturbing greater than or equal to 1 acre of land. Applicant for a land disturbing permit must include stormwater management plan as well as the Massachusetts Department of Environmental Protection checklist for stormwater. Ownership as well as O&M of all stormwater systems and BMP should be clearly stated on the plans to avoid confusion in the future regarding responsibility of the stormwater management facilities. The deeds or the covenant should clearly specify the homeowners association or property owner whom shall be responsible for owning the system as well as inspecting and maintenance schedules. Recommended general conditions for approval. All material within the right-of-way will comply with the town standards as set forth in the Town of Chelmsford Department of Public Works Street ongoing open utility connections rules and regulations. As-built plans should be submitted to the engineering department on Mylar, PDF, and AutoCAD no larger than 24 by 36, a D-size print upon completion of the project. All stormwater best management practices will be inspected and designed, engineered, and certified that they are built in compliance with plans. Documentation needed, including photos, field books, entries, and engineering daily reports, shall be submitted to the DPW with final as built. The stormwater management system shall be maintained and perpetuated in accordance with the operation of maintenance plans. Any proposed sedimentation control devices within the town's right-of-way must be maintained, inspected, cleaned, and replaced as necessary to prevent possible flooding issues during rain events. All on-site work is done and approved and is granted by the DPW with sedimentation control devices must be removed by the applicant as soon as possible. Erosion controls shall be installed at the direction of the engineering department if determined necessary at the time of construction. The erosion control may include but are not limited to silt fence, straw wattles, straw bales, temporary sediment traps, temporary diversion swales, temporary basins, silt sacks, etc. The engineering department may also require the applicant to provide supplemental information on the placement and sizing of any additional temporary erosion controls. All contractors, builders, companies, corporations, and individuals who are or which promote the construction of multiple houses, housing units, or developments, or the erection of 3 or more houses is given to the area shall require to plant 1 tree for each lot or 2 trees for each corner lot. Such planting shall be done before the street is paved and must be in accordance with the specifications as prescribed by the tree warden. Stone bounds for all subdivisions should be depicted on the plans. A licensed contractor must apply for road opening, trenches, lane disturbance, and permits with the DPW prior to the start of the work. Applicant site contractors must schedule pre-construction meetings with the DPW engineering division prior to the start of work. Okay, that's a lot. Wow. I don't know how you did it, Joel. All right. Next one. So this one's from the Fire Prevention Offices. Dear members of the board, regarding the definitive subdivision approval request for 9 Lady Slipper Lane, this office offers the following state comments. Site access. Truck turning plans submitted to this office are sufficient for the access of the subdivision. Any alterations to the roadway configurations will require resubmittal of truck turning plans. Road construction. The gravel road shall be engineered so that it can bear the weight of the Chelmsford Ladder 1 and shall be constructed in an all-weather surface. Proof of such is to be submitted to the office as part of the building permitting process, bearing the engineering stamp. Building construction. All construction on site to meet current codes for smoke, heat, and CO detectors. Sign-offs will be conducted as part of the building permitting process. Building numbering. Applicant is to submit to the town E911 committee for building address. We ask that this letter be incorporated into the public records and be made part of your decision-making process. With the requirement outlined, this office has no objection to the request as made. Please do not hesitate to reach out with any questions or concern. Respectfully, Josh Abbott, Captain of the Fire Prevention. All right, this one is from the building commissioner. Ooh, you guys got a lot here. Dear Ms. Coolidge, should the above definitive subdivision to be known as Chestnut Hill Lane subdivision be approved by the planning board, all proposed lots shall meet the requirements of the table of dimensional requirements, specifically minimum lot yard requirements. Also, the proposed ADU needs to comply zoning bylaw section 195-6.1 in its entirety, as amended and adopted by the town of Chelmsford. Thank you. Jose
Negron.
Thank you. And that's it.
Okay.
Wait a minute. This is just the sign off from, who signed off? The conservation. Do you need me to read those two?
Just the highlighted one, the highlighted piece of that one.
This one says the project is currently before the Conservation Commission in the form notice of the intent filing. And then there's just one from, yep, that's it.
Okay. Thank you.
Whew, that's a lot.
Thank you. Good job.
All right.
Glad I nominated you.
Thank you. I'll remember
Her
that.
voice didn't give out.
And I remember nominating.
Yeah, right.
That's very dangerous, Joel.
Okay. Now we'll take it around the board for Q&A. We'll start with Mike.
Yeah, if you could educate me a little bit on this road. I understand what you said about the portion that is going to be used. It all makes sense. Will that be fenced at the end or somehow terminated? Because I'm wondering, it seems to me from what you've said that the people who abut that paper street would in fact have the right to continue down it, not that there's anything to go to, but they would have that right.
I don't think anybody wants to use it because of
I wouldn't think anybody
because of the
would.
grades.
I know those, the turf. Okay, that's what I wanted to know, that
Sure.
that right would still exist even if nobody would use it.
Oh, absolutely. The rights are the rights. We
Yeah.
can't, we're not changing anybody's rights.
Okay.
Joel? Yeah, sort of along that same line, so this paper road, which is between Cantor and Pine Hill Road,
Yes,
is understand, and that when you look at the GIS, it shows a gravel driveway. It looks like some sort of a use of that paper road up to about the point where it's indicated on the map, where on the left, it makes some reference to a gravel road or something
somewhere
like
in
that.
here, yeah.
Yeah. So if that's accessible right now, then the only thing that makes it inaccessible is the fact that what you're planning to turn into road, because that's the part that's wooded and stuff like that that has to be cleared out, is what I understood you to be saying. That.
It's totally unimproved right now. It's just.
Yeah, it's completely unimproved, so it's impassable right now.
And this road that continues all the way out is not in particularly great shape. My recollection, and I can be corrected, I'm sure, by others, but the only one that I am aware that used that on a routine manner was Mr. Parley, when he originally owned this. And there was a dispute back in 1999, which I was involved in. So he was using this to retain his rights. But to my knowledge, it's very rare that if anybody comes through, and I think there's a gate at the end out on Pine Hill Road that prevents people from going all the way through. So it's not a throughway whatsoever.
Right, although technically somebody could remove it if they wanted access, right? Just like you're
Well,
wanting
only in a
access the
butter.
other end. Yeah, right, well, so any one of the people want to develop it. Okay, but the main question I had was, well, not the main question, one of the questions I have is, so we're subdividing, we're creating 2 new lots,
Correct?
okay? So on one lot, there is a principal dwelling unit, that's lot 2,
No.
okay.
This is, I don't know if we can show it. This is the existing 9 Lady Slipper Lane.
Correct,
Thank you very much. So this is the existing dwelling, Lady Slipper Lane, there's a long
Right.
driveway in.
right,
This is all the one lot. So
Correct.
now we're creating this lot and this.
and that lot, correct.
The 2 houses with the accessory dwelling, ADU.
Okay, so the lot 2, which is that lot,
Yes,
does that have a principal dwelling unit proposed to be developed on it? Does it have?
Yes, this will be it.
Okay, so there is a principal dwelling unit proposed for lot 2.
Correct.
So theoretically, one could add an ADU to that under the current law, correct?
I'm
Okay,
sure it
so
could.
then lot 3 is,
Where the ADU is being proposed.
right, so the ADU is being proposed on that lot, but they share a common
Drive.
drive, okay, and then there is, and that is the principal dwelling unit for that lot. And then there is no, that's the ADU, and then the principal dwelling unit for that lot is that one there,
That's
okay,
correct.
Doesn't
okay.
the ADU have to share, is that the driveway there that goes down to the
This
street?
is this will be the road and that'll be the driveway for the T turnaround. And it will allow for entering into this house or to the ADU. This will have its own drive.
Well, that's what I was just gonna get at, was that, aren't ADUs supposed to share the driveway of the principal dwelling unit on the lot on which it's located?
Yes, and it will.
No.
No.
It's gonna,
It-
it's gonna share the driveway with lot 2.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
Yeah.
You're saying should it have its own?
It should be sharing the driveway with lot 3.
With lot,
I
yeah,
understand.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
You're not adding any curb cuts that would affect it.
Just move that driveway into the middle.
We could, I just don't think that would be the best idea, but it's something to look at, I agree.
Okay,
We'll
So the-
address that.
so that's one question I had.
Because there are technically 2 curb cuts on that property, on that lot with that ADU.
Yeah.
Yes, yeah.
Okay, again, it's just a matter of shifting it. We're not looking to play games with it, we're just looking to be what's gonna be the most
Yeah.
appropriate
Yeah.
location for the driveway.
And then Lot 3 is sufficiently sized that theoretically, not that you're proposing it as part of this, but theoretically, that could be subdivided to create 2 legal lots as well. Is that not true? Because it's over 2 acres?
It's over 2 acres,
Okay,
but because
so
of the
it could
wetlands, it
be.
can't, there's, I don't.
Well,
think
you
it's doing
can
more.
draw lines to do all kinds of stuff, so I'm not,
Well, okay, I don't
But,
think it could, if we could get
okay.
more lots, we'd try.
okay. So my question then is about the drainage. So it sounds like there is drainage planned, but that was not submitted to the DPW? Is there a reason?
Nope. We will follow up with all that information. What we were trying to ascertain was really some of the waivers on the roadway, and then, and the surface. Obviously, if we have a paved roadway, it's gonna require a lot more drainage infrastructure. And so, we didn't skirt that issue, but we wanted to open up the hearing, get some input from the board to find out which way we were gonna go.
Okay, so based on the elevations that you are proposing for the road, are there places, are they all, well, first of all, looking at the contours on the GIS, it generally seems to be that the land is sloping downward along the proposed paper road towards Cantor. That seems to be sort of equally distributed along both. So my concern obviously is a lot of that, a lot of that's currently vegetated, then essentially what you're gonna be doing is you're gonna be removing a lot of the natural, uptake, and instead creating a situation now where you're introducing potentially a lot more water flowing than what there was before. And there's a couple of concerns I have with that. One is that based on the elevation of the finished road relative to the properties that are to the lower part in this picture, which I think actually are east, is there gonna create pockets where their land slopes down, and where before it would slope and continue to slope, it's now blocked by a high road, creating pooling of water in the yards, that is the very backs of the yards? That would be one question that I have. I'm not asserting that's the case, I'm just asking. And then also, the gravel, my understanding, so I've heard 2 things about the gravel. One was that in fact it was going to be impervious, or essentially impervious, and then I was hearing that, no, it's actually gonna be pervious. So which is it gonna be largely?
So a gravel road has in stormwater calculations, a
Yeah.
gravel road does not have the same runoff characteristics as a paved road.
Right,
So
I understand that, but it's very high though, nonetheless, isn't that?
it is high, yep.
It's like
But
above
but it's not
0.9, right?
impervious. So according to lid techniques, we can claim that to be pervious. However, we do have to account for the,
Right, to
fairly
handle
high,
the,
correct.
yeah.
correct.
Like, I mean, that would be my main concern
Yep.
is to know that we're properly handling the water.
So if I may,
Which is why I was interested to hear what DPW had to say, but go ahead, yeah.
if I may, and I know, so there's a ridge line right around here. Flows this way, and a lot of this flows this way back down to Thomas Drive. Thomas Drive, which is over here,
Right,
sits a lot lower than, this is kind of a ridge. And so, to answer your question, I had said before, we're kind of trying to super elevate the roadway here so as not to ruin, or not ruin, to pocket water here and to affect any of these neighbors at all. I will explain that a lot better.
yeah, I would like to
Yeah,
see
exactly.
that explained a little bit more carefully.
Sure.
So I assume then that you'll be submitting a stormwater analysis, okay, so that answers that. Now, the question of septic, I was at the Board of Health meeting last night, Monday night, and they were under the impression that this was gonna be town sewer. And I don't know how they got that impression, but they were then expressing concern about the fact that it would be before us as being on town sewer, but then be septic, and that they wouldn't have had a chance to weigh in on, especially the placement of the, confirmation of the placement of the septic, so that we would know that the placement of these buildings are reasonable given the septic. So I'm sure you're aware of the issue, so I guess my question would be, well, first of all, I understand subdivision, we have a 30-day window with Board of Health. But I would like to be able to have some confirmation from Board of Health that these proposed locations actually are locations that will work. So,
I can
Yeah.
let this board know that we will try to get on the agenda to the next Board of Health meeting to have a discussion with them. Not exactly sure where that issue came from. Again, we applied for soil testing permits through the Board of Health. They were witnessed by the Board of Health agent at the time, and I forget the name of his company, I'll think of it in a minute. But he came out and witnessed the testing. It was all done per code.
okay,
The systems, again, we've roughed them out, we've shown them on the plans, we showed them in relation to buffer zones, property
Okay.
lines, and things like that. And we certainly are planning on following up with that process. But if it helps the matter, we can get on an agenda and have a discussion with
I
it.
think, at least for me, it would, so,
I can reach out to, and try to get us on the agenda.
thank you, yes. Then the only other,
But if they want us to hook the sewer, we certainly will.
yeah. And then the last thing is, and this isn't a question really, it was just more, I think, a comment, which is that, given the opinions that were being expressed in abutter letters, and then also receiving a counter legal opinion by the applicant, I didn't know if we wanted to ask town council for their opinion as to what we should do with regards to this application and this issue.
Yeah, I was going to bring that up after, but since you brought it up, I can address it now. Evan, I would like to have the town council take a look at it to make sure that they've demonstrated sufficient legal rights to construct the road, improve the paper road over its entire proposed length to serve that subdivision.
That's it for me.
Okay, thank you. John?
Just a question, so Attorney Housel had mentioned that a homeowner association would be created.
Yes.
And I understand, so let's say the subdivision hypothetically was approved with the gravel road as proposed. In future years, if the homeowners, for any reason, say 5 years down the road, they, for some reason, find that the gravel's unworkable or not feasible, and they desire to have it paved, could it be paved at the homeowners association expense
Yes,
as
it
a
would.
private way?
It would have to go through the review of the town engineering department, Public Works. But yes, that would be at their cost, not at the town's cost.
Thank you.
So then who's responsible for, like, it's a private, okay, hold on, I'm a little confused with the paper thing. Because there's a homeowners association
There
that's.
will be, that will be,
Of
of these two homes and the ADU.
That's gonna be responsible for this street.
This portion, yes.
Okay, this portion, okay. I think that, I get it now.
Got it?
Thank you, yes.
Okay.
Any other questions?
No, I'm good, thank you.
Any other questions?
We can come back.
No, so my concern is, I go back to the 22 feet width. Is there any way to make it wider?
There's no reason to. The fire department, it's only for issues of safety. And the fire department is the primary safety voice for the town. And they're saying 22 feet is more than adequate. And their letter demonstrates that. So I don't know why you'd want to make it any wider than that.
I'm not saying it needs to be 40 feet. I just don't, I get concerned a little bit about the 22 feet, because we always run into 22 feet, and then, 20 years down the road, it gets subdivided, and someone wants to put in, two families, and all of a sudden, instead of these 3 houses, now we have like 8.
With all due respect, you can't
Like, I-
guess on the future. It's what's before you.
But it's part of planning, so
No, respectfully, it isn't.
If you want. So this paper road that you're saying on here,
Yes.
correct? This paper road is something that could be used by all abutters, correct?
By all abutters, yes, it's
All abutters.
private.
But abutters also includes those other properties lower.
Yes, it includes.
It includes them, right? So by you, what you're planning to do with that roadway right now at the 22 feet,
They
it's-
can't use it because of the.
but you're making it that way that they can't use it.
No, we're not.
They can use it. They can drive on there today and park their cars all along that edge if they wanted to, because it's an abutters road where they could use it, right? If you go to do this, they could park there. Also, if they did that, that would limit on that width, right? It would also block the fire trucks from going down
No,
there.
they can't, that's the point.
Why?
Because you're not allowed to block, that's the whole purpose.
They can't park on the side of the road?
No, they can't.
And there's going to be
But
signage
you're
for that
preventing,
because,
that's all right, we'll come back to it, but I mean, I have additional questions to
It's
ask about
impeding
this.
the
but-
access. You can't, one abutter can't impede the access of another. That's what
But
the whole
you're,
purpose.
but, okay, then how is this project not impeding their access to their property with the roadway, the way you're proposing to make the changes to it?
It's only improving it, it's not.
You're impeding their access to their property.
No, I'm not.
You're keeping it high on that side. How are they gonna access their property with their rights?
They can access it through their own property. They want to build a ramp up into this, God bless them, they have the right to do that, they've had the right to do that for decades. No one's going to do it as a practical matter. They have frontage on Thomas, they're all gonna go through Thomas. That's what they've done historically. This area is significantly lower. No one's gonna try to climb the hill to get up to this road.
What if they wanna get to the back of their property and do some work?
We'll hear that from the abutters. If
Okay.
they wanna do that, I don't think.
We can move on.
All right, go
I
ahead.
don't think you're
I have
gonna
more
get anywhere
questions,
with it.
but.
Do you have any more, Anita?
No, my only concern is the width. I would like it
Okay.
to be a little bit bigger.
Deirdre?
Can you just refresh me, the driveway for the two homes, are they gonna be permeable or impermeable?
We'd like them to be, John, you want to explain this, Brian? It's pervious. I think, I don't know if you were on the board at the time when Bob McCrensky built the building at 28 North Road. And that driveway is a type of material that is, I call it mostly pervious. It allows the water to drain through, and it's the actual entranceway into the parking lot area. And he used a lot of that, it's the same concept being used. So it lessens the amount of impervious
I see,
substantially, and it allows for natural drainage.
okay,
I hope that answers your question.
I think
Jim.
so. I'm gonna go check out that 28 North.
Yeah, it's the yellow it's the Wentworth building, that's what it's designed after in Cambridge. That's where that design came from.
Marcy?
well, Joe brought up one of the points that I was concerned with the driveways for the ADU being on property 2 versus property 3. And I think I might know with the Board of Health questions, like when we talked about the septic system, I wasn't seeing where they're planned or proposed on this. Am I missing it? I could be, but I've been over this half a dozen times.
This area here is leader, proposed soil absorption system primary, proposed reserve, proposed primary, proposed reserve. And those big boxes, those are the test pits that we
Okay.
actually perform. And again, I think on one of the later sheets, the results of those test pits were around those.
Yeah, I remember seeing those, but it was, all right.
Brian, could you address the issue about the homeowners to the east side of Chestnut Hill Lane using that as a road? Why they probably would not be doing that? If they wanted to, they can, obviously.
Yeah, I mean, they certainly could. I mean, most of these houses, most of these lots are developed. They're off of Thomas Drive. I guess I don't know really the answer to that question. If they wanted to carve a path through there, they certainly could bring their vehicle up that way.
Yeah.
Again, I think I tried to explain, I probably didn't do a very good job at the grading of the Chestnut Hill Lane. We're trying to stay very, very close to the existing grade such that we don't have any large cuts. The large fills are there that would create a real ditch one way or the other, so. I don't think we would impede their access.
No, they would have to develop their own plan to demonstrate that it meets all the criteria. So stormwater that would be created, runoff, et cetera. That wouldn't be the applicant's obligation, that would be theirs, because they're the ones that are seeking to tap into, to use that road. They have the legal right to do it, though, absolutely.
I have one more question, sorry, I know we're going the wrong way, but
We go all over the place.
Brian, can you just, or maybe anyone who knows the answer, the ADU will have its own septic?
No,
They'll
ADU
share the septic
Let's share the
with
septic with property 3.
property 3,
I'll
okay,
take the
sorry.
steward for the driveway part, and I will revise that. But the septic will be designed large enough to handle the bedrooms for both the ADU as well as the principal dwelling.
But it will be one septic,
But it'll be one septic.
I see,
Correct.
okay.
one septic per house.
Right, not per
With the
dwelling.
ADU tied into one of them.
Right, got it, okay, that was,
Okay.
thank you.
To keep on going on that same question. When you move that driveway over, is the proposed septic areas gonna be impacted, do you think?
I don't know.
Does it kind of look like if you go
I
to
have a
the other
little bit of
one?
leeway. There's a little bit of leeway. There's the 100-foot buffer zone here. You know, this could slide a little bit. I do have some design flexibility a little bit here, but I don't want to sit here and say anything. I might regret it the next meeting, so I will.
Just gotta go back to the drawing board and look.
Do some
I'll
jiggering.
I'll do some design and show you that.
And where would the driveways of lot 2 and 3 be? Like, actually, where do they park their cars when they're in it? So I get the one on the right, but I guess when you move that, how about the one on the left? The one in 2,
There's garages, and there's room here.
in the garage? And then they wouldn't be parking in the T turnaround zone? So is that T turnaround zone like a no parking?
It would have to be for the fire
Yeah, it'd have to
department.
be no
Yeah, the fire
parking.
department will make sure of that, I
Yep.
think.
So pretty much the whole Chestnut Lane would have to be no parking, because
Yes.
that's the concern when we talk about the 22 feet.
Yeah.
It's a family thing, which is great, and
Yeah.
I know that, my parents live right next door to me. But you want to have family over for a graduation, a birthday party, where are your guests going to be? Because then that seems like you're going to be putting everybody out on Cantor and in the other areas. So if we want to make this so that people are usable, I could agree with Anita that it might need to be a little bit more than 22 feet so that people can, park in the areas without impeding on things. So,
And again, I'm not saying it needs to be 40 feet. I think there's some flexibility.
no,
but
I'm
I
not saying
just
it's got to be
think
40 feet either, so
I
don't,
just-
don't quote me on that either, but we built
22 is a
these
little-
houses.
We're meeting really what's been done before and with the town for roads like this is 22 feet. The width hasn't been an issue in the past here.
Yeah, well, some of us live on really tiny streets. From experience can testify that really wished we hadn't done this in the past.
Okay.
Again, that's all I'm saying.
Marcy, any other questions?
No.
Saritha?
All right, so a couple things I just want to understand a little bit better. On that 50-foot no structure build line of the wetlands, I see the outline properties look pretty close to those corners. But how much distance from like the rooftop runoff are you going to have in those areas? From the 50-foot no structure on the wetland?
It's really a Concom question. You want to answer it, or?
Yeah, I can do it.
I'm
Concom.
still allowed to ask, so thank you.
Saritha, I'm not looking to be adversarial, but I want to keep the purview of the board within the purview of the board. You're on the board, you can ask whatever you want. I'm just saying,
Thank you.
my client's obligation is simply here to prove that whether you grant the waivers or not. That's really all we're talking about here. You want to answer the question?
Of course. So, just to point out, your question is where, like, the
Like how
storm
close?
drainage?
Because it's hard for me to tell from here on the proposed lots that you have right there for the items. Like how close are you to that 50-foot no structure zone?
So,
Because it looks like in that the second one, and kind of like the third, it looks pretty close.
yeah, so essentially, the roof runoff, it's gonna be limited to the air, so it's gonna be at least 50 feet from the wetlands at any point in time. We have gone through peer review. This wetland line has been confirmed by both me and the peer reviewer from Oxbow Associates. So this line is set in stone from a conservation point of view. So on that note, like, from here, I'm sure, Brian, if you can speak, this doesn't include, like, the size of the roofs as well, correct? Yeah, so, minimum 50 feet here, maybe 51 feet there, so.
Because they look like they're right abutting up to like that 50-foot line.
Yeah, that was,
Flooding, but it's outside.
that was a question Concom had.
Yeah.
And they did peer review the delineations.
Okay, and that's what they're waiting on, is that information, or they got it?
I believe they got it.
They got it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
I met with Oxbow Associates out there last Monday. We both confirmed that any buffer zone that would be cast onto these two is unaffected from that peer review site delineation walk. And from there, like, essentially, all buffer zones in the line are essentially set in stone from a conservation point of view.
Okay.
That was actually going to be my question too, because I knew that it was close, and I wanted to figure out if they had settled on where so that the houses wouldn't be moving. So
Yeah, so exactly. And if we're being a little honest, this delineation was a little generous just to give the, the applicant's the most ecologically feasible and most protection to the down gradient wetlands as possible.
Okay, thank you.
All right, and then the next question, I don't know, because I didn't see it. Is there a thing in here about which trees exist today that would be removed?
So we do show a proposed tree line. We didn't go out and locate every single tree.
Can we next time when you come back, can you bring the mature trees that are along there?
Actually, I think that's what the DPW is asking for.
Oh, they were too?
Yeah.
Okay,
In their letter.
cool.
So yes.
The inventory of tree removal within that right away.
Okay, perfect. Let's see. I guess I was just kind of wondering too, because this road, but it kind of came up with the trash that the health department stuff was asking for. I'm not really clear, like, I'm assuming this is private, like a paper road, so a trash truck wouldn't go up it, but if you have a dumpster, it would have to go up it to go empty it, right?
No, the
Yeah.
trash truck is private pay. They'll go up and they'll get it. And then they'll do the T turnaround and drive out. And they'll be part of the homeowner association for trash, road, screening of the plants, those kind of things.
Okay, and I'm also looking forward to seeing when you guys do the stormwater stuff, the snow storage, the plowing plan, all that stuff. I'll be interested to see that when you get that done.
Sure.
Yeah, and I guess I'm just concerned with the road in general, so can't wait to see when more stuff happens. I mean, I understand.
Can I-
I'm concerned with like the runoff. I'm concerned with the water. The fact of it does affect the abutters, so I just want to see more information on it. So I'll be looking forward to that stormwater and the other info.
So stormwater perspective, okay.
Okay. Any other questions before I get to mine? Okay. The peer review that was delivered to Concom, what was the scope of that? I don't remember.
They defined it. I didn't.
Yeah, but was it just wetlands delineation, or was it stormwater? I don't remember what the scope was.
So, the peer review, we reviewed the wetland delineation line. Me and Oxbow also walked the entirety of the site looking for any vernal pool habitat.
Okay.
As well as Oxbow reviewed the entirety of the submittal and provided their comments.
Okay.
Most of them were, revisions to the WPA Form 3 or maps that they wanted provided, which are already completed, and some minor stuff considering stormwater and product design.
Okay.
So
So
did
it did include stormwater and design.
Yeah, they requested that stormwater calculations be provided, and we're doing that anyway, so it's kind of a moot point.
Okay, thanks.
So did they issue an ORAD then?
No. So an order of resource delineation was not issued as part of this. That's a separate filing.
Okay.
The confirmation of the wetland line is only as it relates to this notice of intent for an order of
Okay, so it's
conditions.
part of the NOI?
Yes.
Okay. All right, thank you.
All right. The other question I had is, so for the, excuse me, for the stormwater report, it would also be good to have some information about how impervious the road is going to be based on the engineering construction for the fire department. What percentage of perviousness would it be compared to paved road? The other, my only concern, so my concerns about this road are less about safety and more about stormwater. So once I take a look at the stormwater report, I think we would like to get that peer reviewed, because I don't think we've dealt with a dirt road like this before for stormwater. So I believe we'd want to get that peer reviewed by either DPW or someone else. And then I'm assuming that stormwater report would also include the impervious surfaces of the roofs and the driveways. Okay. Okay. That's all I have for now. Did you have anything else?
I don't believe so. Brian, do
Can I
you
ask
need
one
to know?
question, which I'm sure the butters will probably answer? Can I ask one more question? So, and I know you guys are gonna give us the tree count and what we're cutting down, but when I looked on the Google map, it looks very wooded, even from the butters, like, I guess, is it still screened, even if you were to put this road? Would the butters, like, all of a sudden look out their backyard and see the houses, or is it still wooded?
You want to try that?
Yeah. Speaking as an ecological scientist, are you referring, first off, are we speaking about the abutters across the wetland system within, or
The Thomas
across the street?
Drive.
Thomas Drive, those
Thomas
ho-
Drive
those homes,
butters.
those backyards.
So yeah, it's mainly exists as backyard or even fencing, as abutting the northern or the street side on Cantor. It's mainly fencing, and then from the next three properties, it's mainly sporadic forest, and then around where that T turnaround is, it's also forest. So that entire area on the abutting properties is just forest, and it wouldn't be they would still be adequate screening between the road and the abutters.
Okay,
Thank you.
all right.
Chris, just a couple of comments. So just to remind the board, the definitive subdivision regulatory focus is on the right-of-way and associated infrastructure. The details that are provided on the individual lots are for informational purposes only, for purposes of planning board. The stormwater review is focused on the right-of-way improvements. The trees that DPW mentioned, I believe, are within the Cantor Road right-of-way, not within the paper street. Just a reminder, the town has no interest in the paper street. And then there was comments about protection of future conditions. So this decision could be conditioned as proposed, where it's for no more than 2 lots, whatever width is agreed upon, and then if in the future anything is to change, it would require a modification.
Yeah.
So it's not similar to the roads you live on where they're public streets, and over time, other houses got added and the road didn't get improved or widened. At the time, the board could have done that if they wanted to. Historically, the boards didn't do that. This being a private way, most of the planning board decisions for private ways did limit the number of lots and houses.
So you can deed restrict the number of houses on it?
Yes,
Okay.
Or allow for modification.
yes, yeah,
Yeah.
right. Yeah, that's all I have at this point.
Okay. So the tree count, though, that's not how I read the DPW. So if that's not included, then I would like to see it included.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just
Yeah. Okay.
trying to provide clarification on what I think the DPW comment is for.
Okay.
It's
So-
coming out of the tree warden and trees within public right-of-ways, town
Okay.
right-of-ways.
All right, so I would like to see more of a tree inventory for that roadway as well, for the entire stretch of the roadway.
Of what's being improved?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
So can I just ask one more question, because now I'm confused of what you said. So in this here, then all those proposed layouts of buildings and everything else, they would have to come back here as a separate meeting on those? That's
No.
all part of this too then? So the questions we're asking then are okay?
Yeah.
The locations of the driveways, the houses, the septic systems are shown for informational purposes. The other way of saying this is, there's nothing preventing, after a planning board approval, notwithstanding Concom jurisdiction, that the locations of the houses and the driveways can change. The only thing the planning board is approving is the layout of the right-of-way, the associated infrastructure, and creation of the lots. The house locations, the grading of the lots, that is typically not within subdivision regulation.
Because, I mean, it depends on our bylaws, right? They would go through the building inspector, get a
Yeah.
permit, and just and they would make sure, based off of our zoning and bylaws, that it fit and worked.
But because the stormwater of the driveways and the roofs are essentially tied to the stormwater system of the roadway, we do have to consider that in total.
They may not be.
Right, but we got to know that.
Correct.
Yeah. So if they're not part of it, then that would be part of the stormwater report. Yeah. Okay.
Any other questions?
Anything else?
We'll wait to hear from the abutters.
All right. So now at this point, we will open it to public input. I would ask that because we will likely have future meetings, please contain the comments to relevant information. We do have anyone who submitted letters. All of those letters are attached to all of our agendas. So if there's information in here, please try not to read the letters. You can summarize it, the highlights, for expedience sake. We will provide opportunities for input at every one of our meetings that we have on this public hearing. So if you don't get to say something tonight, there's always next meeting. The other thing is please constrain the comments to the areas that we, under our jurisdiction, and not the Conservation Commission. Okay? So please come up. Please state your name and address for the record.
Sure, thank you. My name is John Christensen, and I've been a homeowner in Chelmsford for most of the past 30 years. Evan, I believe that you've received the letter and
They have hard
okay.
copies.
So I will address only a couple of salient points that came up in the discussion today. I trust from the discussion that you've read the letter, and I appreciate that, Mr. Chairperson. So one of the discussions that you just closed on had to do with the Conservation Committee request for a delineation independent review. And I'm not sure if it's out of form to rely on the attorney of the party and the agents to represent an independent party's review with statements of facts, some of which, if you don't mind, I'd like to address. There was a question, I think, is it Anthony?
You can, sir, if you'd address the board, I'd appreciate that.
I just wanted to make sure that
Yep.
I understood who I was referring to. I think there was a question from Ms. Tonini about the screening impact on some of the properties. And in fact, I think the impact of that was entirely misrepresented. Let me point to my property to help you with that. Now, I live here at 71 Thomas Drive, and it's about a 50-foot grade down to Thomas Drive. My home is located at the top of the hill. It's more or less roughly exactly where you see the printing, okay? We have several trees along the back line, and there is quite a number of trees here in the lane. I assume they will be taken out. I assume a number of these trees will be taken out to create the property. I would assert that it's a misrepresentation to suggest, and I would perhaps request that maybe most of the comments be stricken from the record as it pertains to the Conservation Committee report that none of us have read yet, and we haven't seen. So that's a misrepresentation. This home is also here. They're going to have significant lack of screening to the property. The rest of these homes are all down the hill. They won't see the property. I think the final point that I'd like to close on is that we respectfully ask the planning board not to approve the subdivision or to grant the requested waivers until the entirety of these issues have been settled, including the stormwater, the impacts on the abutters' property. You'll hear from some of them tonight. So thank you very much for your time. Appreciate it.
Thank you. And just to clarify, we do communicate significantly with the Conservation Commission. I'm actually the liaison for that group, and I do attend all of the meetings. If there is any information that is provided at those meetings, I do pass it along to the board in these hearings as well, if it's pertinent to our area. That's one of the reasons why I asked about the scope of that Concom review, because if it was purely conservation related, it wouldn't be pertinent to our hearing. However, if there were aspects of stormwater and design, they might pertain to us. So in that situation, I might talk to the Conservation Commission about looking at the report. But we would be gathering all of the information that we need. Any other members of the public?
Hi, good evening. Thank you so much for your time today. I have to say, proud to be a Chelmsford resident with all the critical questions. Really appreciated that. My name is Kate Urvanis. I live at 25 Amble Road, which is in actually an area we haven't talked a lot about, but is in, I can just point it out, the immediate downgrade of these new proposed properties right here. So I just want to be super clear. I'm not here to argue against the right to build by any means. I do just want to ensure that the board has the necessary technical evidence to prove that the development will not result in water trespass or damage to my property. Most of that area, as you know, because we're doing a wetlands review, is already quite wet, and the downgrade does continue on my property, so there's a lot of potential for that flow. So we already covered the DPW memo. There's no stormwater calculations that were submitted. I do appreciate the attorney mentioning that they're doing those. I would just ask that, in order to really respect the application process, that we need to review these calculations, as well as the missing land disturbance permit for cut and fill, because it would be hard to make a vote or determination on this in a vacuum. I think also I heard that just on the Conservation Commission review, there were a lot of questions that were not yet addressed or we've not seen addressed related to whether there's perennial streams. And I heard the engineer mention that there's a whole host of revisions that they're proposing. And I just think it's important that we see those revisions and how it will also impact the plan, because we cannot assume that the new designs will work. I think that is the applicant's legal burden to prove. The second point I just wanted to touch on, we talked a lot about pervious gravel roads, impervious. One of the important things that I think we should also be touching on here is that gravel surfaces are often proposed to be green or friendly, but in reality, I think those gravel roads change over time. So we've talked about, the importance of O&M plans to make sure that some of that is addressed. But I just wanted to request specifically that the board consider requiring a 100-year storm analysis that treats the gravel surfaces as 100% impervious, because in 3 to 5 year periods, that percentage can shift to impervious quite quickly. And if the drainage system only works when the gravel is brand new or only when it's been freshly maintained, then that system is designed potentially to fail and could create a massive runoff problem for my downgrade property and the downgrade properties of my neighbor on the other side. I think just specifically to talk a little bit about, I heard the homeowners trust, which I think is, great to hear. I just would request that that also come with a specific operation and maintenance plan, how that is tied to deeds if these houses are sold over time, and make sure that that's also reviewed to make sure that they are fully responsible for that. I appreciate that the applicant is not at all concerned about the runoff, but just would also like to see the data to support that. Without this, the issue is that gravel roads or these driveways or all of the other elements that we are moving around or have not yet determined, if they clog, the first yard that's actually going to be flooded is mine. And there is no one to be held accountable on those reasons if these considerations aren't taken overnight. And, the town then will be left mediating this private dispute, which I think we could prevent just by doing a little more analysis in advance. I think I don't know the details. I heard your specific feedback about the road specifically and the rest of it being informational. I have a lot of questions about the runoff that's created from all of the additional landscaping, which is today a very wooded area. Removing all of that right up, on an hill property. I don't know the specifics, but I would ask if there's something that you would review there. That's, certainly partly a concern for mine. And then I just appreciate your consideration to continue the hearing, until we have these, land disturbance permits, the full stormwater calculations with these considerations taken in. And I also really appreciated the town engineer specifically being requested to review that as well. I think, often this analysis includes a post-development volume of water, not just rate, which is really critical to ensure that it's not increasing on that property line. I think we're all aligned that we should prioritize the protection of the existing homes and the town infrastructure. And we've had a lot of, wetter and wetter lands over the last with the new houses that are developed, and want to make sure that our homes are safe too. Thank you very much for your time. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Krista McLeod. I am an abutter on 29 Amble Road. I actually had a question. So it may, all along this road, if you'll notice, all along here and all along here, those are stone walls. And according to research that I've done by my neighbor Matt King, who also submitted a letter, and those stone walls may be as old as 200 years old. So my question is, will those stone walls in any way be impacted by building a road there? Will they have to be removed when the road is being built? The reason I ask this question is because according to zoning bylaws, one of which was just voted in town meeting, any project that includes a building or structure over 75 years of age shall be referred to the Chelmsford Historical Commission for review and comment. There has been a lot of recent scholarly interest in these stone walls in New England, as they are unique to our area as archaeological properties and as historical properties to be investigated. So that is my question, is I'd like to know if there's any plans on disturbing those stone walls when that road is built or improved.
Okay.
The next point that I have another point as well. It's regarding the Pine Hill Road access. So while they've stated that it is not passable, that access right now, the paper road, I would argue that it is passable enough that the homeowners in that area have had to block it off with a piece of chain, because they've repeatedly had Amazon drivers, people cutting through when they're trying to cut through in their vehicles. And if you look at Amazon Maps, it's on there as an unnamed road as of right now. So if this paper road runs the risk of becoming a cut through in the neighborhood, if all of those trees down that road are cleared. So I just also want to point that out as well. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other members of the public wish to speak?
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen of the board. I appreciate you holding this hearing and giving us the opportunity to provide input. My name is Matthew King, and I'm a butter at 23 Amble Road. I do want to say that I do want to lead in by saying that I did submit a letter in advance detailing an analysis that I did, raising questions about the applicant's right, title, and interest to build the paper road or build the paper street over the proposed area, because you have kindly, and I very much appreciate, already requested town council review that plan. I'm happy to hold my comments out of courtesy to the board if you would prefer to see that analysis first, but I do have some comments that I have prepared in response to the rebuttal letter that Attorney Hausler did post. So we'll leave it up to you all.
If you have additional details that are not in the letter, now would be a good time to add them.
I can certainly speak to the ways that I read the letter that I think are relevant to you all and your consideration of that letter. I'm not going to repeat it now, and I'm certainly not going to try to rebut it point for point. I simply want to call the board's attention to the fact that the core gaps remain in Mr. Hausler's letter. Most of the letter is spent making the argument that the applicant has some form of easement in the lane, and I do want to emphasize that that's simply not a fact that's in dispute. I think the law is clear. Yes, she has some form of easement in the lane. The question, and the only question that actually matters, is whether her easement in the lane covers the distance from here to Cantor Road that is not abutting her property. Now, you will have heard Attorney Hausler talk on and on about the derelict fee statute and how it grants property rights over half of the fee within the lane that abuts the applicant's property. But it is important to be clear that the derelict fee statute in and of itself contains no language, no provisions that actually conveys easement rights. It is simply an instrument or is simply a law that controls the fee ownership in legal conveyances. So I want to talk a little bit about the fact that Mr. Hausler's letter is ambiguous with respect to actually defining for you all what is the source of his claim that the applicant's easement covers the entire lane. What he said is that I'm sorry, lost my place. Nowhere does he clearly explain which theory of easements is he asserting that grants the applicant rights over what I'm calling the terminus of the lane above Cantor Road. Instead, there is an implied argument based on two claims. He implies that an easement by estoppel, it's a word that came out, covers the entire lane on the argument that because all parts of the lane have appeared on any subdivision plan at any time, that, and these are his words in his letter, no one can claim the right does not exist. I want to emphasize for the board that this is a categorically false statement, and I might go as far as to say a disingenuous one, because I suspect that even Mr. Hausler knows that that is simply not true. Many courts in Massachusetts have repeatedly upheld that estoppel does not apply to everyone, anywhere, at any time. It is a right that runs against grantors only, in favor of their grantees and not against any outside party. So it is true that the applicant's grantor, Charles Coulis, and anyone who followed him in his chain of title cannot claim that the applicant's easement does not exist. But as I noted in my letter, estoppel does not in any way legally bind or burden land that is owned outside of parties that have no history of common ownership with Mr. Coulis's chain of title. And therefore, the letter does not address the most central fact. The Cantor Road terminus and Lady Slipper Lane have never, at any time in history, as far as I can tell from public records, been owned in unity. They have always been a part of separate chains of title. There is a fundamental core fact that is so fundamental to law that it exists in Latin. I won't try to pronounce it, but it basically says, one cannot grant what one does not own. Mr. Coulis has never owned the Cantor Road terminus of this lane, nor has anyone who preceded him in title, and therefore there is no easement that can apply to a part of the lane that no one in the applicant's chain of title have ever owned. It is simply an incontestable, highly upheld tenet of Massachusetts land use law. So no, the applicant's claim to an easement across the entire lane is simply false. Her easement stops right here. This is what she owns. This is all private property of these three abutters, and no, this easement absolutely does not include this part of the lane. The other part of the letter that I will address mostly involves, as you all have noted if you read the letter, mostly involves, as I said, an explanation of the derelict fee statute and the purported utility rights in the abutting way. Most of that is tangential until you actually can prove that that part of the lane is covered under the easement. It is important to note, as I said, that the actual statute only addresses fee ownership and not an actual easement right. So once you boil it all down, Mr. Hausler's argument is based on exactly that common assumption that I described to you in my letter, which is that of some sort of ephemeral abutter's easement, where simply owning a property that abuts a private way ephemerally grants an easement right that exists independently of any other theory. But I have already discounted that in the letter that I wrote to you with cited case law that shows that the Massachusetts Supreme Judicial Court has explicitly rejected this idea of an abutter's easement assumption. So unless the applicant has a valid easement claim under one of the theories that Massachusetts actually recognizes, then no, there is no right that automatically pertains to the entire lane. And you will notice if you read the letter over again that Mr. Hauser's letter does not address or rebut this point. And he simply asks the board to believe in this theory of an ephemeral easement grant that does not exist. So I will wrap up by saying that I am not asking the board to attempt to adjudicate either one of our claims. This board is a regulatory body, as you all know, and ultimately this is a legal dispute that requires lawful adjudication. When development rights are disputed, as they are here, the issue should be resolved by the courts, not by this planning board. So I respectfully ask that the board require the applicant to take her claims to court and try her title rights there before taking any action or making decisions about her definitive plan. The burden of proof to show that she has right title and interest in that contested segment of the lane is on her. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Any other members?
Good evening. My name is Deborah
Can you pull the
DeTora.
mic down a little?
Good evening. My name is Deborah DeTora, and I'm an abutter to the property in question. Over half a century resident of Chelmsford, a Chelmsford volunteer, and producer and host chef of Cucina Cuisine on Chelmsford TV. I'm just here to provide a little bit of history. The development has been, the Coulisses have identified developments previously, and the previous applicant was Charlie Coulis. And we had, there were some issues with the Planning Board and Conservation Commission at that time. So at that point, and this is over about, it's almost 30 years, about 28 years ago, and I believe the attorneys were Hall and Finnegan at the time. They were over at the Fisk House next to the Fishbones, and they decided to ask the neighbors to come to the law offices, and there aren't any meeting minutes to speak of. So all I can do is give you from my memory. And at that time, and I made baklava too, so I don't think that was the decision maker. But as a result of that meeting, they abandoned the use of the paper street and scaled back their development at that time, which is now Lady Slipper Lane, and also the conservation land, the Coulis Farm, at that time. So I'm just giving you some historical perspective. The intention, since I've been there almost since, I was a child, the intention of the original developer, Hicks, was to leave a forested area in the back of the homes on Thomas Drive, Cantor Road, and Amble Road. He wanted to maintain the desirability of those properties. My backyard and the wooded area, which includes the paper street, is designated as a national wildlife habitat. And there's a sign back up. And also I have the certificate if you need it. The current site conditions already demonstrate that this area is highly sensitive to water, as documented by the Oxbow Associates, which specifically highlighted my property, 61 Thomas Drive. The applicant wants to use as an access point to the paper street for the express benefit of the applicant, essentially creating a private way without consideration of the abutter's property rights. It does not seem logical to me to destroy the environment, since there are a lot of trees on that road. And the only fencing, all of those properties in the back, the only fencing is my fence, which only is part of that property. If you want to go down to Thomas Drive, I can show you. There's only a little bit of fence here. So if they take all of that, all of the trees and the vegetation, I'll be looking in my backyard at a paper street with people going back and forth. It's also a nuisance because it's gonna be a private nuisance because it's going to attract other people. We have motorcyclists that go up and down Cantor Road all the time, so they're gonna go running around through there too. And they will probably go to the other side of the Cantor Road. Chestnut Hill Road, which empties into Pine Hill Road. And basically, it's not logical to destroy the environment. It's a quiet paper street. There's cumulative negative impacts on the abutter properties. There's loss of natural screening. There'll be increased traffic. It's not just going to be the applicant's residents. It's going to attract attention. And it's a private nuisance, interference with the use of a home via the water trespass. I appreciate the opportunity to speak and ask that the abutters' concerns be fully addressed. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Any other members of the public wish to speak? Okay. Did you have any answer? There was one question about stone walls, or is the applicant prepared to answer anything about that?
Some of that stone wall, if not a majority of it, will be disturbed during construction.
Okay, thank you. Anything else from the applicant?
Just a few things. I'm not going to respond to Mr. King's comments. Town council will give us its opinion. We can work from there. I'll rely on legal counsel from the town and I to work out what we think are the right principles of law applied to this situation. I'll leave it at that. With respect to water trespass claims, I don't know where that's coming from because there's never been any such, and we're not proposing to create any water to affect anybody else's property or trespass on their property. We have to maintain the stormwater per the regulations. It'll be handled by a town engineer and our engineer as well. So I just ask you to keep this in the focus that is within your purview. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you.
Can I ask a question?
Yeah.
One of the questions that just came up from what I heard from the public, across from that T area, it's not really clear to me where the current structures of homes are. Is it possible to get an updated view of one of these plans showing those structures for the next meeting?
It is.
Okay, thank you.
My clients have spoken to the White Houses, which are right here. They're not here and they have no objection to it. So I certainly understand Mr. Christensen can make whatever comments he wants about his property, and we respect that. He should not be representing what the comments are for White House Family Trust. As far as I'm aware, they're fully supportive of this entire, my proposal. So if they're not, they'll come, but I'm fairly confident they won't. So we will address that particular issue for Mr. Christensen.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
I just made a plug point. We'd be happy to locate the homes, because, well, I don't know that all the abutters are here, but I'd like to get permission to go on there to locate. We don't have to cut any trees, don't have to do anything except for a survey crew to go locate the corners of their houses. So
I don't know if we need to survey.
It could probably, and some type of, maybe the town map showing the homes.
Oh, okay.
GIS.
You can put 'em on a
Yeah,
GIS.
something to
Okay,
give
so
me
that would
an
be
idea
acceptable.
in
Okay.
relation to where your T is.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I'm looking on. That's why I always have my computer, because it's always,
What
it's,
about that stone wall stuff?
Hi. I wanted to also about one question regarding 61 Thomas Drive, noting that there was some comments by Oxbow Associates. I feel like that area, that the letter was misrepresented. 61 Thomas is only mentioned once in that peer review letter as it relates to a dip in topography. Nothing regarding clearing or screening or environmental impacts.
Okay,
Can
thank
we
you.
get a copy of the letter?
Yeah.
I have a question for Evan. I'm not aware of a National Wildlife Habitat certification having any regulatory strength to it.
I'm not familiar with that.
Okay.
I'm not familiar with that
Can
provision.
we ask Conservation?
Yeah, I was going to
Commissioner
reach
about
out
that?
to the chair of the Conservation Commission.
I would suggest that the residents submit that paperwork, and then we can have conservation review it.
I just want to jump in. While, that area is maybe defined as something, it's not within legally protected area under the WPA, at least. noting it's not within priority habitat or estimated priority habitat of rare wildlife or species considered by natural heritage. It's not mapped within either.
Okay. Ms. Dottori, if you could submit that to Evan so that he can get it to the Conservation Commission. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, anything else from the board?
One more?
Oh, one more?
I just have a clarifying question. Some of we've talked, I know this is planning board. I actually just was looking to be educated, if you don't mind for a second, on, there are open questions in the Conservation Commission. So does that mean that your decision includes that explicitly? That needs to be, okay, so.
No, they're separate decisions.
Okay.
They typically impact each other, which is why the two
Yeah.
boards work closely together
Got
and
it.
why we have a liaison with them. But they are two separate regulatory
Got it.
bodies. Sometimes the jurisdiction does overlap,
Got it.
but it is separate.
So who's responsible? I just heard the attorney's comments about, like, you know, not being, this not being a water trespass issue that's relevant, but like, isn't uphill construction responsible for proving that they don't create a burden on downgrade properties? Is that not a planning board issue, or who actually is responsible for that issue? I would just like to know.
Basically, it's our review of the stormwater. is
Got
the-
it. Okay,
the-
that's
The
super.
degree of our jurisdiction. But
Okay.
it does, if it is designed and implemented according to the guidelines, then it should not, it should prevent
Got
any
it.
water trespass. That's the point of it.
Okay, that's super helpful. Last question is, some of the questions on the Conservation Commission that came up was, like, there's potentially a perennial stream, and that would change the boundaries because that switches from 100 to 200. So those issues around septic tank could actually be, and house boundaries could be put into question. So is that that overlap doesn't, no, that's all Conservation Commission. Okay, thank you so much for clarifying.
Or Board of Health.
Or Board of Health. Okay, so the
Yeah.
Board of Health would need to see, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, which is a separate hearing.
Yes.
And now my full-time job. Thank you so much.
Yes.
Anything else from the board? Anything else from the public? Anything else from the applicant? I will take a motion.
I would move that we continue this hearing to
May 27th.
27th.
Motion by Mike,
Seconded.
second by Marcy. All in favor?
Aye.
Unanimous. It is continued to May 27th. Thank you, everyone.
Thanks.
All right, we will now move to the next item on the agenda.
Next, exciting.
No more public hearings for this evening. Community Development Director's Report.
Okay, thank you. Just quickly, I have one item.
Folks,
We may want to.
You have a
Hold on a
meeting
minute.
still?
Give them a couple
folks,
minutes.
we need to continue the meeting. Could you take the conversations out to the hall, please? Thank you.
Thank you. Just give them a couple minutes.
Thanks again.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hold on, Evan. We'll
Yep.
just give him a minute. Okay.
Okay. So the one item is the Managed Growth Strategies meeting tomorrow night. At that meeting, NIMCOG and I will be providing several updates, one of which is submission of the second state grant with a submission date of June 3rd. That would cover the second $100,000 for the estimated budget. So that is all I have this evening.
And when does that grant award get?
It would be October. Both the grants, the one that we submitted back in March, and this one, we expect to hear responses probably around October time.
Anything else?
That's all I have.
Okay. Liaison updates. I will start with a town meeting update. All of our zoning articles passed except for the bed and breakfast. There was significant opposition to that. So I think at this point, unless people feel really strongly we will put that on the back burner for a while and maybe talk about it again in the future, maybe not. We'll see how things go.
We've got a lot of stuff going on.
Yeah.
We have a lot of things to.
Yep.
put up.
Conservation Commission had 3 meetings between our last 2.
When was our last meeting?
We
beginning of
canceled
April.
the second one last month because of town meeting.
Oh, so okay, so it's not just.
been a long
It's
time.
been a long time, all right.
And
4
our meetings
weeks.
were staggered with conservation last month anyway, so.
Yeah, they didn't have one, on the one before, they didn't have one in between, I think.
Right, yeah.
And then they caught up.
So, yeah, so there were 3 meetings. The only thing was Lady Slipper had their first hearing with them, and then the last 2 meetings were continued. So they're now even with us for Lady Slipper hearings. But that's really the only item, nothing else major. Any other liaison reports?
There was a ZBA meeting, which we haven't had for a couple of months. It was a short meeting, was an ADU. And they were looking for a variance because of the FAR, but it was like 0.02%, like over, it was really, really small. They approved it. They gave them the variance. It really wasn't all that material.
Substantive.
Yeah, and not at all. But no, that was about the excitement. It was a real short meeting.
That little, and they didn't modify their plan. To,
I don't think they
To
could.
take off like a corner of a.
It's an
corner.
ADU behind the Triangle
Saw off
Market.
a foot,
Oh,
yeah.
okay,
Yeah, it was just one, yeah.
I don't know.
Which I thought was interesting in and of itself.
Because it's supposed to be residential, but
Yeah.
but again, that's one of our zoning conflicts. So,
Anyone
it
else?
looked nice. It did look
I-
nice.
John?
Just real quick, I do have a NIMCOG council meeting scheduled next Wednesday, the 20th.
Okay.
Board of Health met, and I already mentioned that, and I already mentioned that, I think that maybe was that they heard that, from DPW, that Lady Slipper would be able to connect to town sewer. But in any case, they were under that impression, and so, it'll be interesting to see how that resolves. Obviously, with the whole gap analysis, we're wanting to sort of have people go to Board of Health first before they come to us to resolve some of these things. Other than that, I asked about the gap analysis, but I know we're gonna be talking about it, so I'll just keep my comments. for now.
So who's going to follow up with letting them know? Did we say, were they going to follow up? They were going to follow up, right?
Yeah.
We
They
said
were
that-
gonna follow up,
yeah.
yeah. And then also they had a change, they had election of officers, and now David Paquette is the chair, Dr. Meekle is vice chair, and Rich is clerk, so they just changed seats again.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
Okay. Anyone else?
The Vinyl Square Committee met. The clock tower is going to be unveiled May 25th with a veterans honorary plaque on it as part of it. NEMCOG came to our meeting, and they were talking about a railway feasibility study that they're looking to try to get started. They talked a lot about the railway potential from, was it Gallagher and Lowell to up to Nashua. Nashua is currently doing a study as well to see feasibility-wise about it going there. The other, and that was really interesting to hear that, so
They've been
wanna
talking
see
about
more.
that for
a while,
40
but it
years.
seems like they also found out Nashua has moved forward with their feasibility studies, so now they're trying to catch up to it, and what they're trying to find out is apparently they haven't figured out, I think they said they didn't know what they were doing with their budget for next fiscal year, and they were hoping to reallocate some of that money towards the feasibility study. So, we'll see where that
Trying to
lands.
get 2 states to connect the railways, always interesting.
Yeah. It was different because one of the first things she said is that the New Hampshire DOT wasn't in favor of it. So then questions started coming up of why. So will be interesting to see what they find out, because Nashua is actually the one that did the feasibility study.
Yeah, I wonder, I always wondered, why couldn't we just connect it all the way up to Tingsboro?
Well, I guess, and that's the other question, is Tingsboro doing a study?
Well, but
Because this is Chelmsford, right, with that feasibility study. Well, would that be the whole thing? How does that work?
Would it be?
It would, okay. And then the other thing that's still kind of up in the air is in Vinyl Square, that parking lot lease has not been renewed. So there's currently no lease, and I guess also by no lease, there's no insurance. So. and we don't know when that's going to get taken care of, so they're having a hard
Who
time.
had the lease? I mean, the town had the lease?
It was like a 30-year lease between that, and I believe it was whoever owned that property before, and then the property got inherited, right?
So
It got
the,
sold.
so the current owner doesn't want to lease it back to the town again?
There was talk back and forth, so, but now nobody's talking.
Oh.
He stopped answering calls, so they're trying to get him to
We're
talk.
leasing it for $1.
But he hasn't said what he wants to use the property for, so that's, the people, they're asking that as well, but there seems like there's not communication happening.
Yeah, just to add, I want to step on your report.
No, go ahead. You were there.
I did talk with Town Manager Cohen, and it was, town meeting did approve renewing the lease for $1. However, the town manager has reached out a number of times. The property owner has not heard back, so that's where it sits.
For $1?
Yeah, that was the
Yes,
renewal.
Leslie.
Isn't there a
Yeah.
renewal option on it? And that's what we.
It's just there to be a nominal fee, but you need the other party to enter into a lease agreement.
No,
you know,
I
but-
He
understand,
doesn't
but I
want
thought.
to do
I
it for a
thought it was-
dollar. Maybe he wants more money.
No, I get that, but I thought it was an automatic.
Let's give them 2.
Yeah, I think we can get 2, yeah.
All right, let's move on. Anything else?
Center Village isn't meeting this month.
Okay. All right, let's move on to the aquifer protection gap analysis. So, a few of us met with the other, with Conservation, the Board of Health. Evan was there, Christine Clancy was there. And we met to review the draft. We got a presentation from the consultant. We provided verbal feedback. I didn't see a lot of note-taking. So I believe they're asking for continued feedback. So my recommendation is that if you have feedback from that night that you verbalized, or if you've got feedback now, that you send it to Evan and I, we'll compile it and get it on to.
Weren't
Board
they
of
also
Health.
recording the meeting?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure Nancy was
Yeah,
recording it.
yes,
Okay.
because I remember she saying something, then she put, hit
Yeah,
button
yeah.
with the
Okay,
little
I
box
didn't
front
notice.
brush.
Okay. It was kind of noisy in there, so I wasn't sure how much that is going to pick up anyway. So if you've got feedback,
Are there minutes of
let's
it?
at least get it into
No minutes have come
writing.
out.
Evan, I think you took some notes at one point. I made some comment at the end. I think you
There
took
will be
some
minutes.
notes.
The Board of Health will create the minutes, and then Planning Board will
Okay.
have to review and approve those. My recollection was, the main feature of input from Concom and Planning Board was what kind of questions, what kind of data, and then any stated methodology, maybe lessons learned from 270, would be incorporated into that.
And then, I think
that-
also being able to have some say if there's a public hearing on disputed.
Right. If
If
the LSPs can't agree.
Yeah, if the LSPs can't agree, then that, right now, the way it's worded is the Board of Health will have a hearing to adjudicate any of those things, and I wanted for us and I'm speaking for us, to be able to weigh in on that too. So how exactly that happens, I don't know.
270, which one was 270?
270?
70 Bill Record
It's
Road, the warehouse.
The
The warehouse.
The warehouse?
That has the big for rent sign in front of it.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
The
I'm
one you-
worried, don't worry.
The one
I'm
you
worried.
didn't vote for.
The one I did not vote for. I was a
Yeah,
yes.
That's why she.
Only one I didn't vote for that one.
There was some discussion last night at Concom, some concern voiced from some of them about, is this gonna be too onerous on people? Create too much, undue financial burden on some applicants? But as David Coons pointed out, 270 as an example, they ended up paying for the LSPs for both the town and their own LSPs after the fact for a long, significant period. So even in 270's case, if this were done up front, they would still be paying for both, but it might have compressed the timeline for the LSP time. So for some cases, it may increase the cost. For other cases, for the more complex ones, it may decrease the cost.
And I think too, Doug, we were both asking about essentially what triggers this sort of particularly hydrogeo study. Because the way it appeared to be fairly broad, like even if you're just having a site plan review. And so we wanted to get a better definition. I think that's something they were gonna work on.
Yeah.
Was that. But one of the things I added, I'm just remembering, and I'm making note of it now, was that we also wanted to have it be triggered when the applicant is aware of contamination on their site, which is different than the landowner, because that's what 270 was all about. The applicant knew about it, the landowner did not, until the applicant became the landowner. Then they were required to report. So we wanted to catch that.
All right, so yeah, we will have the minutes that we'll look at, but if you do have additional feedback, send it along to us, and we'll make sure it gets to the Board of Health.
Did we
Right.
skip 210 Boston
We
Road?
did.
Like
Oh,
my-
yeah, I did.
My memory's really bad, and then when you guys start screwing around with it like
It was
this, you're gonna-
small, sorry, I missed it.
I
You're
caught that too
really
when he starts
mess
going
with
on there
me.
the arc
Really
for gap,
messing
and I was
with
like,
me.
we kind of missed something there, but we'll let him go.
210 Boston Road, sorry about that. Evan, do you want to give some background on this
Yeah,
one?
so I printed out the materials. This did not, the materials that I printed out for you did not get on the agenda. So the property owner of 210 Boston Road, which is the retail plaza along Mill and
Is this a CVS?
Boston Road. No, it's a strip plaza.
Mill and Boston
Oh, yeah,
Road.
yeah.
It's this plaza right here.
Used to be a peach.
Oh, yeah, okay.
The old train store.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep. They have a vacancy, and they have a small coffee shop interested. Surprisingly, the CA zoning does not allow restaurants of any type. So I told them to send an email to me, and I would bring it to the attention of the planning board for consideration. Some of the other material that you see here is that there's 4 CA areas in town. Chelmsford Street across from the Westlands, which is primarily a commercial area. School Street is a mixed-use area. Kate's Corner has some CA. And then the 4th CA area is this Boston Road area. So at a high level, some of those areas may be appropriate for like small coffee shops, not full-blown sit-down restaurants, and others may not. But similar to the Mill property owner, another example where a property owner is receiving inquiries and trying to engage with the planning board. So if you want, we could invite them in for maybe a more detailed conversation, or we can, proceed as the board would like to. Final comment is there are several restaurants in this plaza already. I have not done a file review, but my guess is that those received use variances some time ago.
I was gonna say, I thought there was a restaurant
I
in
think
there
there's a
already.
pizza shop. I think that may be the only restaurant, a pizza shop.
So why
What's
can't
in
they
the
go
train
they go and get
spot?
like a variance? then?
But we don't allow use variances any longer.
I was gonna say, I've never heard of I've never
Yeah.
heard of one
Back-
coming before us.
A long time ago, the town did allow use variances. Those would go to the zoning board.
Ah,
There's pros and cons to allowing use variances.
interesting. So then what would be the process? We would have to go to town meeting and
Correct.
change the zoning?
Yeah, so we would have to either allow.
Change the use table?
Yeah, change the use table to allow these small type coffee shops. We'd have to define it.
Oh, God.
Because the way we've defined restaurants is not based on size or what they serve.
Like fast casual that kept on coming up.
Yeah, so we would have to essentially create a definition. And because there's already a pizza shop here, I'm not sure we would want to limit it to only coffee. So we'd have to redefine what we want and either allow it in the CA zones, or create a new zone.
Or change it to another zone, like a different zone, like, I don't know if there's another more applicable, like a
or-
CB.
Yeah, or change this to a different.
Because it's
zone.
literally like only 4 places in town that we have CA, and they're
One of
interesting.
which is Kate's Corner, which we
Yeah.
just
What is the-
rezoned.
Wait, so is that darker area all CA?
Yes, this is the lumberyard.
Okay.
These are probably part of the lumberyard, these 3
Where is
buildings.
this?
Lumberyard.
Chelmsford Lumber.
Yeah,
Oh, across the street, okay,
yeah, yeah.
sorry.
And what's the green thing? Is that public?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
The question I had is School Street area. I'm not familiar with that CA
Yeah.
area.
It's very small. It looked like the mixed use, looked like the mixed was single family with maybe some contracting in the back.
Okay.
And then final comment is, while we don't have subcategories of restaurant, we do have subcategories for retail stores. So for inspiration, less than 3,000 square feet,
Yeah.
Right.
more than 3,000 square feet. So there's a variety of ways. You could do size, you could do not to exceed number of seats.
Tables, yeah.
Yeah.
Where's a gas station now, and what zoning? Where's a gas station be in?
What was the question?
What a gas zone,
CB.
gas station.
CB. I was just thinking, because gas
CB,
stations have
CB.
coffee.
Yeah, but
This is
it's
not
not
CA.
primary use.
The
Is there
gas,
other stuff like
the
that?
gas stations usually have a convenience store.
Yeah.
And then the convenience store has a food counter,
Yeah.
And convenience stores are CB.
retail,
Retail.
retail, yeah. But the principal use of those sites is a gas station, which we regulate.
So I think we have 2 things here. We've got, I don't think there's much we can tell the property owner now at this point. But if we're going to do something for town meeting, we should discuss what we would want to do. So think about it between now and the next meeting. We'll put it on the agenda for some brainstorming next meeting. And then we'll see what we want to do for a direction for this.
I think it makes sense to regulate restaurants based on size.
That's going to have significant impacts across town, though, so
Yeah.
we do have to think carefully about that one.
Well, maybe, I mean, if you're putting, like, what's the one by Robert, is it Roberts Field?
Creamery.
The creamery.
What's that zoned?
I don't know offhand. Do we know the address?
No, I have no idea.
Old Westford Road.
It's next to the new fire station.
What's that address?
Isn't it hit into School Street too?
Yeah, it connects to School Street.
Where's the?
Old
oh.
Westford and School Street, is it?
Here it is, right
You know
here.
where, Friendship Park?
That's right there.
Oh, North Chelmsford, yeah.
RB.
Well, that answer,
That
well,
doesn't help us.
that makes a lot of sense.
Would a coffee shop be allowed if it was CB Light?
Yes.
So that's one option too, is just turn that thing into CB Light.
What would the lumberyard be? Is that,
Lumberyard is currently CA.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
yeah, but is that retail? Is
that
It's
that
got, it's,
Contractor, yeah.
it's, yeah, it's retail wholesale.
Retail.
it's a
Retail.
wholesale? Okay, so that would be allowed in CB Light.
Yeah. That'd be easy.
That would be easy.
Well, we gotta check to see what else is in the other CB Light,
Yeah.
what the other CA districts are.
Well, we wouldn't have to change
All
all
of
the
them.
CAs.
Oh, no, wait a
to
minute, you're
CB
saying
Light.
just change
That
that
one.
area to
Change that
CB Light.
CA area to CB Light.
Well,
Got it.
that one's also wrong,
Yeah.
right next to it.
I mean, if it works for Kate's Corner.
Well, this is
That's
up
a
at
whole lot more
Roberts
sensitive
Field
than
now,
this.
so.
Different area, still it's wrong.
All right, think about it.
But yeah,
That might be an easier
We'll
one.
talk, yeah, we'll talk about it next meeting.
That CB light might come in really handy for us.
That's a great
It's like our
zone.
Swiss
That would
Army knife
Good
district.
job with that CB light zone.
Pretty soon we're gonna change the whole town.
I like it.
It's just, you got a problem, make it CB light.
Right.
So flexibility.
On old business, can we move number 4?
Yeah, I was just gonna
Okay,
suggest that,
great,
because
thank
I've noticed some folks patiently waiting on Zoom and in the audience for number 4. All right, so we will move to Riverneck Road as the next item.
Excuse me.
Evan, do you want to bring up the slides? And Anita, Mike, do you want to walk us through?
So this is not a public hearing.
This is
This
not
is
a public.
not a public hearing.
Are we taking public comment?
No, we're discussing, so the process that that I'd like to continue following, that we've been following, is we have a group or some initial draft that this board talks through, makes adjustments and changes based on our own input. Then we have an informal meeting with the residents in the area, abutters and things like that, get their feedback and input. Then we have a more formal public hearing that by then will likely last 1 or 2 meetings.
Yeah.
Great, thank you. So,
Okay.
so tonight is the board discussion.
All right, ready? This is the first slide?
Yep.
Okay, I'm trying to reorient myself. This is, so because Riverneck Road is so large, we're doing sections at a time.
Perfect.
The gray section, just to orient, the Mercury buildings up on the right, they're not highlighted. And up to the top is 495, like the top is 495. Riverneck kind of comes all the way down. I think it's even Carter Drive, might be in here. The gray is currently IA, which doesn't make sense.
What's above it? Is the gray above it also IA?
Yes.
Yep, it's
Yes.
495 right on top.
Yeah,
You can't really
and
see
all of those properties are town of
You
Chelmsford.
mean 3?
No, 495.
That's 495.
Route 3 is to the right, further this way.
Is it possible to get like some sort of picture added in here that gives like a bigger view? No?
You can't fit it on a slide. You'd have to,
Like, just not putting these to see the changes, but something like an overview one that says, okay, we're gonna look at this section.
Oh, that's a
or
good
this
idea.
section.
I can do that, yeah,
Okay.
definitely do
Yeah.
that.
yeah.
That way, then we can
Yeah,
go,
that's a
then,
good
that,
idea.
because we're
Just
so
to
serious.
orient, just
Yep,
orient.
yep, that's a great idea.
Those of us who live there.
Yeah.
Don't need it, but that's okay.
So this is, a lot of this is all
Visually oriented.
public. So if you go to the next slide, Evan. We're just proposing to change it to public because the town owns it all. There's a couple of properties that have like a little bit of IA in their corner. That's mostly RB, so we're saying those are RB. And,
And that weird shaped one would be RB too.
yeah,
Which weird one?
That.
that one, like that
yeah,
one that's pointy.
where the RB is on. It's got the lightning bolt to the right.
That's
This one.
243.
Yeah.
That's 243
right there.
Riverneck.
Oh, that is
Oh, this piece right
That's
here.
243.
Ah, okay.
So
The,
we had talked once before, and we never did anything about it, but the one other time, iteration of this process, we had proposed as a policy, which maybe doesn't make sense now that we're doing what we're doing, but I'm just gonna put it back out there, that the people whose property are like half one thing, half another, could choose one.
I thought you were picking to the best.
no, yeah, that,
Okay.
that wouldn't make
doesn't
sense.
You're right,
Yeah.
okay, that's fine.
Where does that RB red line, where's that pointing to on that?
So that property there, that big property, like, yeah, with the RBs on, and that little property that has the corner there, that's a little
Tiny
gray.
corner.
That's why
And-
I called it out.
And the rectangle.
The whole rest of it, because only
Yeah,
that
those
small
two,
little
so,
corner is
so those
RB.
two, those two
That little bit
highlighted
of the
yellow.
top left of
Yeah.
IA.
I think the arrow just
Okay.
seems a little confused. Does it need to just point, like, because I guess I'm getting confused.
So there are 3 properties there.
One,
That are
two,
partly IA, partly something else.
Yeah, they're kind of cut in half. They're part IA, part
Okay,
RB. Mostly well,
You're looking to change the whole section?
All three of those properties.
to
Yeah,
RB.
they should be one or the other.
Which they are RB because they have houses on them.
The other question I had
We
is
just
to
make it
the,
not a straight line, basically.
Okay.
Make it go like this.
to the left of that.
No, I mean, like, that other one's RB, and then there's I think just need a line to that one or something, I don't know.
Okay, or we can put a little RB on this one,
Yeah.
a little bit, and get rid of
Yeah,
the,
get rid of the arrow and just put RBs.
I was just pointing out that that's just a small little
Yeah, I
piece
get
of
it.
that property for some reason.
I think if
dumb.
it hits that little
Well, because
piece,
they
it
were
needs to-
married to the straight line.
Yeah, I don't know why,
some
why we did
reason.
this, like, why we didn't follow property lines before, which is really bizarre.
Evan, to the left of those properties, that curved shape,
The yellow?
yeah.
The brook.
On the other side of that brook, if you look at the map and blow it up,
It's a little still IA.
there's still an IA strip on the other side of that brook on that residential section.
To the left of Collins?
Yeah, see, like, right there? I didn't highlight it.
So if you, so
See, like,
we
right
should
there?
include that one too.
Oh.
Right there?
Huh, look at that.
What are we looking at?
If you want, if you pull up the slide, I can point to it. It might be easier.
Well,
Here, right
he's
here.
doing the map.
Which one?
This
Right,
little
where the-
strip, I think she's talking
On
about.
River Meadow, like, there's a little bit here.
Yeah, right
Okay.
there,
Right
right
over.
there.
Yeah,
See how
yeah,
like that
yeah.
is?
The
Like
other
colored
side.
outside the lines.
Yeah.
Yeah, again, it didn't follow the
Oh, what about
property.
the bottom part? The bottom part sticks out too.
There, a little bit.
Yeah, like,
Yep.
like my point, okay.
So
Okay.
dumb.
All right, really,
too.
like,
Do you,
pick on this one. This was supposed to be the easy one, by the way.
Yeah, so we need to clean up all
Yeah.
of those.
yeah, but so we're just gonna make them follow a property.
Property line, yes.
Yeah.
That's sensible,
Okay, and they have houses on, so they're going to RB.
common sensible.
Okay.
Common sensible.
The next piece of this, the famous, this is the one everybody should be familiar with, because I think we've spent quite a bit of time on this planning board looking at this
Everybody
piece.
wasn't here then. Monmouth.
Monmouth, we've got McFarland, we've got the Mercury Building. We also have Apollo Drive.
Well, Apollo Drive maybe could be IA.
Hold on.
Oh.
And then we have some piece off of Progress here.
Are we on a new slide?
Yes.
Right here. Next slide.
Next slide down.
One more?
There you
Okay,
go.
sorry.
Okay. Following, our process for Kate's Corner, in North Chelmsford, the IAs that I've highlighted on here that abut the neighborhood, if you want to move to the next slide. So what we're proposing is turning McFarland back, Monmouth back to RB, CB Light for Mercury, CB Light across the way there in the empty lot, and then there's a machine shop light,
High-tech machineries.
high-tech machineries. Then CB Light for anything that abuts a residential. And again, what they have now is already allowed in CB Light, doesn't change anything, but it does prevent anything that would be, gives us that buffer to the
Right.
neighborhood.
IA creep.
Yep.
What happens like with all that gray to the right of the RB houses? What is that?
Route 3.
Yeah.
Highway right away.
To the right, that line right
Yeah,
there,
yeah,
that's Route
Route
3.
So it doesn't
that's
matter
all.
what we zone that or what,
It doesn't matter for like that, whatever that is, space between.
We're not gonna
RB
build
and
there.
Actual.
No, I think that's owned by the state.
The state.
State.
I mean, the only thing they can
Fence.
build there is if they decide to expand Route 3 again.
Okay.
before we go on to the next slide, I have a question about the residential house on River Neck.
In the middle?
Yeah. According to Sean Campbell's letter, there's someone living in there now.
Is there?
Which one?
Well, that was the one that they.
I thought they sold it
The owners sold it
Davis.
to Mercury.
Yeah.
Or to Buckley and his crew.
So if that,
That's the house that was part of the contractor proposal.
yeah.
Well, is somebody living in it now?
There's nothing preventing them from using it as single family.
No, but if that's the case, then we need to put it back to RB.
RB.
You can change it if you want.
No, we can rezone it, it becomes I mean, we
I mean,
try
I
to
would prefer
avoid
to keep,
Yeah,
like,
right. We
if-
don't wanna-
non-conforming,
We don't wanna
but-
have little pockets of RB.
Yeah.
no, but I mean, it's a cute little single-family home. I would do that one and the big empty lot right across from it, next door to it. Do that RB. So then development could go in.
You could put RB abutting CB light.
Yeah, like,
I would rather
like
have
Evan, if you take that
contiguous.
CB light, move it to the right on the machine shop, up on, yep, you should be able to grab that.
Wait, no, this is just an image.
Oh, okay, maybe not. Oh, I can fix it.
It's a PDF online.
Oh, okay. So if you do the CB light,
So
move that
do
over to the
people
Misha,
not
and then.
want to change that to RB?
I don't.
Well, why wouldn't we want to do that? We have a, here, hold on.
Yeah, I'm like, I've
It's
lost
the
it there.
cute little blue farm-like house.
Yeah.
It's like
Yeah, but
on the left,
She's from North
right,
Chelmsford, she doesn't like-
between the.
She's on the right side of town.
Ouch, ouch.
I'm going to Nashua all the time.
I didn't know people from East Chelmsford could look down on anybody. Looking down on North Chelmsford, man, that's amazing.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay, so this is a little house, it's a cute little house.
So currently, it's a house and
This
people
is
live
all
in it.
wooded.
Okay,
This is a machine shop.
okay.
So if we're gonna move this, change this back to RB,
Oh, got it.
I would zone this RB and allow someone to come in and put a development in there. We need housing in this town.
Oh my goodness, I cannot believe you're saying that with your mouth.
Make it subdivision
I think it would add value
What?
to this area. And, you know, I mean, like, again, I don't know why this area ever got zone IA to this day. I don't know why they did that. This used to be, but it is still a primary resident home that they're running a business out of. They do,
Pools.
pools, and they do great jobs, but they actually, you know, converted, when this zoning changed to IA, they still live in the primary residence, I don't know if they're running their business out of it, but.
Is it the little yellow one on the end of Monmouth?
No.
No, McFarland.
This one right here, this
Oh.
one is, I can't think of the name of the company. They're-
South Shore Gunite
Yeah,
Pools.
they do
Oh.
beautiful work.
Yeah.
South Shore Pools.
They moved,
And actually, I think he sold the business.
Okay.
Going back to RB,
RB.
we got it.
RB. It's your wish list. You can put it on there. Maybe.
well, yeah, I want this one, like, I want this to be a neighborhood again, like, we're, like.
Well, because it's RB up this way. You're saying RB.
This way.
Yeah,
whole
I mean,
little
so
section.
originally, I was thinking doing RB up all this way, and then because this was already developed, and that I thought was owned by, but I would, you know, I'm fine if we wanna do these two lots, that would make sense to do it RB and break it up,
Or what, how would you feel about multifamily there?
no. But I would be open to like smaller lots,
Like a little village?
yeah,
You like villages.
I know I do.
like, yeah. Just a thought.
I'm not against housing. They would be, I mean, they would be very close to high-tech machinists, which is an attractive-looking building compared to some of what we've seen.
Yeah.
Aren't we supposed to be looking at more smaller future homes for people? Isn't that part of that future
Yeah.
growth strategy?
Yeah, I would say. Someone came, I think John came back and reported on that one.
But I, you know, I would even, like, I mean, I say no to multifamily, but I wouldn't be, like, an RC would be, not that, I would love that there, but we could also do that in RC, but I.
Well, and we don't really have a zone that we can build villages in.
Not yet.
Right. So,
You can do that in the COID
yeah,
if it were zoned, commercial, CB light.
this
We
is,
could also do, can't we do, like,
This
an
is COID,
overlay
isn't
to
it?
allow villages?
Evan,
Well,
this
this
is
does
COID
have
over here.
say
No,
No,
over.
no, I've taken that
Not
off,
b-
though.
yeah.
That's, that's going to the
Well, we
slide.
gotta discuss that. But
Well-
right now, it has it on.
Yeah, but I was thinking, taking that off and maybe put, you can do like a village overlay or something like that, that would allow it. Okay, next.
I would
slide.
love that.
So,
So I guess on this one, you're going to come back with what it could look like with what you're proposing.
Yeah, so I guess these properties here, we kind of.
Well, we have all those pictures from the missing middle from our MBTA.
What are we talking about? What were 3 properties?
This one, you might as well do this one, like you could do this one, and this one.
Is RB?
Yeah, which connects up the
RV
whole
or
intersection.
something.
Or our new village zoning overlay.
I think we're doing a lot of change here. This is a big project, so.
So you want to remove commercial zoning?
For these that have houses already on, like this one and this one, that's,
This is the 5-acre vacant piece.
yeah, I mean, that could be a nice development, 5
You
acres.
can keep it CB light and keep the overlay on it that would allow
Yeah.
residential.
You gotta see what else the
Yeah.
overlay allows, that's the problem. We looked at that, and it
Yeah.
allowed a whole bunch of other stuff that
You probably wouldn't
you
want.
don't want in the CB light.
Which
Oh.
overlay?
Huh?
What overlay?
The sales?
COI.
Sayod doesn't change the use table.
No, sorry, it's the 129.
Right, the 129, but the
overlay.
SEOD,
Sayod you could keep.
The 129 overlay doesn't even apply to River Neck Road.
Yes, it does.
I think
Only
it does.
for multifamily. Not,
Hit the zoning. okay,
not the
GIS.
business amenities.
I think it does.
It
That was the
does. It's
problem.
all,
I don't think so. I think the business amenities are along the main road.
That's what I thought.
I think that was the whole problem that we were alerted to when those people bought those properties. We were like, whoa.
If you look at if you turn on the, when I did the GIS, and you turn it on, the overlay goes all the way up.
Yeah, the overlay goes up there, but only certain parts of the 129 overlay are applicable to this area.
Oh,
Daycares are allowed. Retail's allowed. Restaurant, no drive-through, is allowed. Let me just get I thought there was something here about. Restaurant, no drive-throughs allowed, bank and financial agency, health club, hotel, motel. And then by special permit, yeah, multifamily, retail with drive-through, banks with drive-throughs, and upscale fast casual. The upscale fast casual restaurants are only allowed along Mill Road and Billerica Road.
but Evan, if we have it as a CB light, most of those commercial uses would be included in the CB light.
Yeah, the
So we
most
wouldn't
are,
need
yeah.
that overlay. And then we keep the SEOD overlay, and that allows the residential.
I was just trying to focus on the notion of eliminating commercial zoning and replacing it with residential zoning.
Yeah, and I'm not sure we would want to do that, but I think, I do see Anita's point about the 129 overlay, and a lot of the uses that you mentioned are either allowed in CB Light, or
Yeah,
we
we'd have
intentionally
to
left them out
reconcile
of
that.
CB Light. So we would pull off the 129 overlay from that area.
And keep it on the main 129,
Yeah.
so you can make changes to the like, you can add use, like,
Yeah,
it focuses on that, and it's not creeping on anything that's abutting resident, like, really
yeah.
residential.
But if we want to see residential there and still allow the flexibility, we can keep it a CB Light with the SEOD overlay,
Okay.
which allows the residential.
Yeah, I was getting confused.
I guess I'm confused on that, because right now, before, everything that was a house, in the other areas that we were looking at, we were making them back to residential. So in here, you're telling me that you have 2 properties that currently have homes that people live in, or 3, and you're proposing to make those CB light.
Is it,
Well, one of them includes a business as well,
Yes.
and the other one is a vacant lot. So the only one that I was recommending the residential is the one that actually only has a house on it.
And that's that small one.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Which
like-
was,
But to Joel's point, that doesn't really make sense for that small property. in that large area.
Which is why those people sold it and left.
It's an investment property, so it's a rental. And then my only other comment is, anywhere where you introduce single-family zoning adjacent to non-residential zoning, a 100-foot buffer may apply.
So yeah, so I'd be in favor of keeping it CB light.
With the current use grandfathered
So,
in.
like, again,
Yeah.
if you look at the next slides, CB light is gonna be mostly on that side, because that seems to be where it all changed.
Right.
And this side seems to be, you know, pretty much residential's with the exception of this guy
Yeah.
and that property, but this property, but, yeah. Okay, this is the, so Route 3 is here.
Anita, could you go back to your seat, because you're blocking my view?
All right, you want on the other side?
You can talk over here.
Okay, so.
You look like Vanna.
She went up there because I asked. I was having a hard time following it.
So now we've just gone, just so you know, like, the other side, Route 3 was on the right, we've gone under, or over Route 3, under the bridge. Now we're going up toward, there's a cemetery, that big.
Up
key
towards
thing.
St.
Oh,
Joseph's Cemetery.
Joseph.
All right.
Right, now you make sense there.
See, just to orient you, across, there's the fire station.
So these are all homes, but they're all along here? Like
Yeah, see those, so see the little.
the
bit-
arc?
Yeah. Yeah, so this is River Neck Road.
Yeah.
Okay,
And
this is
the
a home,
cemetery.
this is a home.
Right.
These are homes.
But they're currently zoned, this is currently zoned IA.
All IA, yeah.
Okay.
And one of these actually got, I think, like, the town actually owns, so if you go to the next slide. And these up here are IA, so those, any place where I put RB are where homes are. The P that stays P, that's where the fire station is. CB Light is where there are actually office buildings that fall under it.
CB light, where's
What's that
that?
teeny tiny
Oh,
square
now I got it.
under, to the right of Stays P and underneath RB? What's that tiny thing right there?
Which one?
Up
It's a
above.
very small square.
Those are two houses.
This-
Where are we
right here?
talking?
Yeah, those are two houses.
Those are two houses.
Okay,
Here?
so that's RB as well.
Yep, that's RB. Oh, that little square with the little thing, that's not the house, that's the, it's not the Pigeon Club?
Oh, that's the Pigeon Club, yeah.
The Pigeon Club. We have a pigeon club on River Neck Road. You gotta come up our way. You gotta take it to a whole different
There's a lot
area.
of cars there, like twice a year, there's like a whole bunch of cars.
What is that?
Welcome to
pigeon
East
club
Chelmsford.
gonna be? What is it zoned as? What is the pigeon club zoned as?
IA right now.
So what do you want it to be?
Fuck's sake.
I don't, like RB,
Does
because
RB
we.
allow pigeons?
I don't think anything allows pigeons.
I think it's grandfathered
I don't think we
in.
have a zone
And
for
there's no
that.
pigeons there, it's just a pigeon club.
An overlay, we need
Like,
a
there's no
pigeon
pigeons there,
overlay.
it's just a
They
club.
have like an outing maybe once or
I think
few
it's
times
twice
a
a
year.
year you see.
They bring their pigeons.
Cars and cars.
They bring pigeons there.
They do.
They bring pigeons there?
Yeah, there are trailers there all the
Oh,
time.
I didn't know they brought
So
pigeons
it's like
there.
a fraternal club.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, that's likely already allowed. Let's take a look.
I would think so, because it's, I don't know, only been there since I've been born.
I think it's been there forever.
There's so many.
Yeah, I think it is allowed in CB
You
light
need to
too.
come to our side of town.
Yeah.
Come over.
Oh, you're
Come take a
center,
look.
you're not even on our side of town.
I drive River Neck Road all the time.
Evan, if that's what you would classify it as, I think we do allow that in CB light.
They're making it RB.
Is it loud in RB?
No.
All right, we'll make that CB light.
That's a weird, isn't that gonna look weird though? Well, it would be grandfathered,
That one little-
right?
It'll be grandfathered
Yeah,
anyways.
Future use would just mean somebody would, I don't know.
Like, I guess they could sell it and whoever wants to buy, like it's enough. I would do it RB because you have all the other houses right next to it.
Should be RB.
It should be RB.
Who's the abutter?
The fire department.
No, I meant of the pigeon place. Are they gonna come here?
The fire department and then a couple houses.
Okay.
I say for years I thought no one actually used that till I drove by and it was filled with cars. I'm like, oh my God, people actually go there.
I know.
Yeah.
That was
The one thing that I
surprising to me
think
the
is
first
gonna
time,
be
too.
a
Well, this
little
hurts my
problematic, Oh, yeah, this is, I put in the 129 overlay, and you see how it all goes all the way up? So that's where I was recommending we.
Except for this one small section.
Here? That's
Yep.
129 there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So anywhere where we change to CB, so that,
Okay.
that's it.
So Anita, what were you gonna say? The only,
The only thing I think might be problematic, if, stay on the side, see where, to the left, is, close to the Route 3, where you have the water, East Chelmsford Water. I think it's Walsh who owns Walsh who owns the property. He owns, it's a residential house, but then, and I don't know how, this came about, but he has trailers parked there?
campers?
Campers, it's almost like, is it a junkyard, or what is
There is
it?
a very long history.
Yes.
involving that
He
owner.
does have a zoning permit for
Like a variance?
RV sales and maintenance.
Yeah, which abuts, which is right on East Chelmsford Water. And if, I've got to look at when the property was bought, but I believe the property was bought when it was zoned RB. But that would just be grandfathered in.
Like it is.
And that's the only thing I could see be problematic.
I guess you'll find out when it comes and talks.
I don't think it's any more problematic than the Pigeon Club. It just is what it is. For now.
Bring the kitchen club in.
So are there any concerns or questions on this, other than that initial discussion we were having on those 3 properties?
So change those 3 properties?
Do you feel it's more cohesive now with all these changes? Do you feel like there's any areas that you don't have that problem of things crisscrossing on each other, or like we had before? Do you think
There
there's
is one other, there's on Monmouth, I think, town-owned property.
It's really tiny. It's like a,
Yeah.
it's like the size of a boat
Would
launch
we
through the
want
property.
to-
It's the, between 2 residential homes you're talking
Yeah.
about.
Would we want to change that to a public, or would we want to keep it RB?
I would,
It's too
the
small
town wanted to
build on.
sell them, didn't we want to,
It
offer
was-
to sell?
It was being looked into. It's unclear if butters are still interested, but, I
So
don't.
I'm thinking we would probably want to keep it RB and not change it to public if
Yeah,
the
because
town
I would
doesn't
think-
really want to keep it.
Right, and then the abutters could, someone may want to buy it and,
Yeah.
expand,
Put
do
it
an
back on the
addition.
tax roll.
Yeah, and put it, and make it
Okay.
do an addition someday or whatever. It's RB, gives them a little bit more land, it gets it all back on the tax
This
roll, yeah.
property right here, the red block,
Yeah.
What's that?
municipally owned.
Wow, it's bigger than I thought.
No, but it's not. It's
Can you
right-
blow it up?
Is that this block right here?
little tiny one?
No, isn't it? No, that's not it.
There was a tiny one.
Well, that's
lower.
one of them.
Go low. To the right, there's that tiny strip of red.
No, that's not
No?
talking about that.
What is that?
So it's that
That's
one?
Monmouth.
Who wants these 2 little pieces? Is it the
Anything red is, select board.
So the little one at the bottom, the skinny one,
Yeah,
that's Monmouth?
Nope.
No,
Oh.
Monmouth is right here.
Oh,
So it's bigger than
I
I thought.
really didn't think
Yeah,
it was
because
that
say,
big.
get these 2 little small lines here.
You live on one?
You've lived on there.
Is it next to the
I wonder if
Regis?
that's the one that, because that looks like that one
What's
shown
that?
there.
Didn't you live on Monmouth?
I did. When I first came to town.
Okay, so you don't know where it is?
I was picturing a different little strip. I thought it was skinnier.
You would probably
But
think
now I
these
know
2,
where it is.
these little ones, these 2 little ones next, yeah, that's what I was
Is there
thinking.
anything on it, or is it just
It's just land.
open land?
It's just forest. Between Apollo and,
Okay.
Yeah, but if we keep it residential
yeah,
and someone buys it,
yeah.
then we get it on the tax roll.
It might be big enough to,
But if you
it
made
might be
public,
big enough to
then
build
it
on,
would
since it's not
stay-
the one I thought it was.
No, I don't think so.
Yeah.
But if you made it public, it would stay green.
It would stay
Right.
green.
Yeah. So we'd probably keep it RB.
I like green.
Oh,
Trees are trees.
All right. Any other comments? So for those 3 that we were talking about earlier, are folks okay keeping them CB light with the say out overlay?
Yeah, I mean, I'd suggest that there's enough fuzz in this that rather than trying to overthink it at this point, we
Talk to the.
we make any obvious changes right away, and then we go talk to the neighborhood.
Yeah, I just wanted to make sure that
That's
there were
where
no
the
serious
interesting things
concerns
will
about
happen,
any
yeah.
of these yet.
Yeah.
All right. All right, Anita, could you make the few changes to the slides?
The
Give
first slides.
Overlay, or the overview slide?
Yep,
And then also include those other few properties?
on this one.
Yep, that one.
Yep,
And then clean up the labeling.
yep.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
very
Nice
much.
work.
Yeah, it's a lot of work.
Do we want to start the informal discussions with property owners next meeting?
Why not? Yeah.
Evan, do we have time to get notifications out?
We do. It will probably be about a week notification. Just Chelmsford Mail is really slow for whatever
Yeah.
reason.
Mm.
Do you want to wait, do you want to do it in the first June meeting?
I
Yeah,
think you
let's-
might want to push it out a month.
Yeah.
June 10th?
Because,
I think 1 week's not enough.
Yeah.
Let's do June 10th.
Okay, property owner invite.
Yep.
okay. All right.
All right, so let's go back. We don't have any updates on managed growth strategy.
No, I'd suggest we defer that because we have a meeting tomorrow on it.
Got it, okay. We will defer that one. All right, so the number one is just the update on the changes. I'm not gonna go through that, you can read that. Just keeping track of our changes and updates. So we will go to the Pilo discussion. So last time we talked about simplifying that definition, up top, Evan, on the policy, not the definition, but the policy. So
Taking the
I took a
dollars
look
out.
at the video, got some wording, and this is what I would propose, if folks are okay with it. Any concerns?
So basically, Chris, that's what we talked about, like removing the actual dollar amounts, and then you'd have that in a policy
Yeah.
that could be updated
Yeah.
more
I think it'd be much
frequently.
more effective.
Yeah, so the short-term changes are gonna be with that policy, and then the bylaw change of striking these numbers,
I'm still not,
and then the word "these" and changing it to "the" in number 2. I highlighted it in yellow so you can see it this time.
I don't like the rounding up to, I'm not comfortable necessarily with the rounding up.
Right, and that is a larger issue that we need to address in the more large discussion
Okay, fine.
with Chelmsford Housing and Choice.
Okay, fine.
And that would be a longer discussion.
Yeah.
So my plan is to definitely go with these changes to town meeting, so to at least clean it up. And at the same time, try and schedule Choice and Housing to come in for a formal public hearing on updating the whole bylaw. If we can get it done in time for the next town meeting, great.
Yeah.
We'll do that instead of these cleanup changes. But my guess is that we probably won't be able to do it in time for that town meeting, so it will likely spill over. So we would probably do it in 2 stages, do the cleanup first at the next town meeting, and then have the
Yeah.
larger discussion about the direction of Pilo.
Fine.
Okay. So Evan, I'll work with you to see if we can schedule those folks to come in and have that discussion with us. So I'll consider that one done. All right.
I guess it's kind of a side question. What do people think about density bonuses as a,
We'll table that till that next discussion.
okay.
That's gonna be a larger discussion.
You know, but I was just curious.
All right, so the next item is contractor yard. So, what I did, so Evan found a report from Fairfax, Virginia that discussed a little bit of this. So I took that information. I also looked at our definitions that we have for the different small, medium, large warehouse approach. I looked at the home occupation bylaw, put it all together, and realized that for some of the smaller contractors, like the trades, like plumbers, general contractors, the people who have the home offices or have a few employees with vans, those are more similar to the service businesses like house cleaning services, HVAC contractors. They're not providing any materials. Typically, they usually get those from their stock houses. They're not typically storing heavy machinery on site.
Right, they're not making a mess.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they got one truck with a rack.
Yeah, that's pretty
And
typical.
they're not usually storing a lot of.
They
like,
might
what-
have some tools in their garage.
But they don't have like inventory of
Right.
like different, they're not,
Yeah.
carrying all these pipes or what.
Right, so I realized that we do have some service business definitions already. So what I did is I kind of lumped those together in a tier 1, and I called it contractor service business use. And then tier 2 was a little bit more of the heavy duty stuff, probably light machinery, some outdoor storage.
Piles of rocks.
Yeah. Tier 3 is going to be the heavy-duty contractor yards, paving, that type of thing. So I kind of tiered it based on the use.
Landscaping business be?
It depends. So what I did is I defined it based on their use, the materials. For that, I also put guidelines in for the types of vehicles, no medium or heavy duty vehicles or heavy equipment. So it would be
The tier 1.
yeah.
Tier 1.
So if you scroll down, you also have a small number of vehicles as opposed to large number. No outdoor storage of equipment or materials. Plumbers, electricians, HVAC, small carpentry contractors, those types of uses. The multi-tenant or contractor condominiums, those types of facilities.
So what would it be if it was like a, say, a plumbing company that had a fleet?
Tier 1.
That would be tier 1?
If they had a fleet of vehicles,
Of those vans, like they have like 10 of
a
them parked out front.
Well, 10 would be potentially a higher number.
You're not regulating number, though.
If you scroll up,
For tier 1, I don't think you're regulating number.
No, this one says less than 3
Less than-
commercial.
yeah, less than or equal to 3. So we did put some in
Oh,
there.
okay. I brought that to your attention.
Yeah, and I wanted to bring it to the board.
Yeah.
We can leave it in, we can take it out.
Yeah.
We may,
I mean, I just
we may
noticed.
leave it, we may take out the limits, but also then require some parking.
What if they have stuff besides commercial vehicles?
What's that?
What?
What if they have stuff besides commercial vehicles? Like in some
Like-
of these businesses, they could have vehicles for the business that are non-commercial.
Like cars?
Yeah, cars. Like you mentioned a cleaning service, right? Running out of a business. Those are regular vehicles on the road, not commercial.
Well, they all have gross vehicle weight. Why don't you just say, tier 1 is a total of so much gross vehicle weight?
Well, I mean,
Yeah,
It could
that's
be
what we
3
did, the light
cars.
duty class
It could be
one.
3 cars or
Yeah.
1 truck and a car or whatever combination you want.
But I think you address that with the parking,
Yeah.
right, based off of the business, right? Like, I think someone with a cleaning, cleaning service, but people have their own cars.
How does this, I guess
Like,
maybe
with-
I'm asking because today, people run businesses out of their homes, such as a cleaning service.
like
And
Mighty
they have
Maids or something.
Maids, yeah, like that,
Molly
and they have their
Maids.
cars there, their employees come and park there, and they're doing that in a residential area right now.
They're not supposed to.
Is that true?
I don't think they're supposed to.
You can run a home business, but you're not supposed to have employees.
Yeah.
And then you're not supposed to have
And-
vehicles
Yeah.
for the business
Yeah.
parked there.
All right, I'll ask you a question after then. 'cause I have questions.
Call the building inspector, call Jose.
Trouble.
So if you scroll down, Evan, to tier 2,
Love my neighborhood.
so tier 2 has more vehicles, a little bit heavier, potentially small stockpiles of material like mulch. We also talk about potential daily trips for this one, a little bit more impact. And then tier 3 is more of the heavy truck traffic. These are the heavy pieces of construction equipment.
So that would be allowed only in IA?
Well, if you scroll down even further, so go back up for a minute. I also defined heavy equipment, commercial vehicles, heavy commercial vehicles, talk about exempt uses that are not part of this. I talk about the potential framework that we would put in the use table. So tier 1 would be potentially by right in all of the commercial and IA areas. Tier 2 would be prohibited in residential, CB light, special permit in commercial, and then by right in IA. And then tier 3 essentially only by special permit in IA. And maybe down the road, we can change that to by right once we have CB light buffering all of the IA.
I like the idea of the tiers.
Yeah.
I think that's really helpful. It also gives people options, right? If they're
Yep.
looking to do something.
Yeah, great work on that.
Yeah.
Much more clearly defined.
And then Evan and I were talking about if we can agree on these concepts, then we'll have to figure out how to get it into the bylaw.
Where do they go?
Does it go into its own section, its own new section, or do we kind of intersperse some of these? It's going to be a little bit more difficult because some of this is new stuff that we don't have elsewhere.
So is this in a state for us to look at and comment on?
Yes.
Okay.
So please provide me any feedback you have. Send it my way. I would like to try and discuss it again next meeting. I'll incorporate any of your feedback if you can get it to me before the Friday before the meeting. I'll incorporate feedback and then we can discuss it and hopefully close it out soon. At least for the concept, and then Evan and I can figure out how to mix it into the bylaw for a proposal that goes to the public hearing. Okay?
You think this could be like some portion of it for fall town meeting?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I think we could get this into fall.
Good.
Yep. Okay.
Strong work.
That's all we've got for that. Any other topics?
Just that I submitted an initial overview of some thoughts on the data processing.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Data centers.
Yeah,
Provide-
so we'll add data centers to the next meeting for possible bylaw changes. I'll add that to the list. We'll send out the information.
No, surprise.
Joel did some good initial work on that.
I'm surprised we haven't seen that about Mercury,
Yeah.
like, we went to River Neck Road and proposed that one.
The only other thing I have
We
is,
had everything else. Yeah, it doesn't be next week, yeah, next month.
the only other thing I have is to congratulate John on
Yeah.
his
Oh, thank you.
appointment.
Yeah.
That starts at the,
May 26th. No, I
26th.
appreciate the select board's support, and it will be a challenge, but I'm looking forward to it.
now will you still be participating in the planning board?
Yes, I can address that, just if people have questions. So, Town Manager Cohen looked into that with Town Council, and because as acting Town Manager, it's a temporary position. So basically, the Select Board appointed me for a period not to exceed 6 months or until the new permanent Town Manager arrives, whichever is shorter. If I was going to be the permanent Town Manager, which I'm not, then I would not be able to sit on planning board or be a town meeting rep.
Okay.
But town council has weighed in and said that I can. That being said, just being honest with everyone, I'm
gonna
going
have
to
a lot
see
on
how
your
it
plate.
goes. And as a last resort, if it becomes too much, then I would, share with all of you. I'd give you advance notice, but my plan is to continue attending the planning board meetings. And
Okay.
Maybe you could, like, audit planning board for a spell.
Well, I mentioned that John Blake was chair of the ZBA when I was on the ZBA, and because of a health condition with his wife, he took a leave of absence from the board. So I just, I don't want to burn John out. He's an extremely
No, and I-
valuable member of this board, so
I-
feel free to. at
Although the
any point.
CBA is appointed,
That's true, it is different.
so this is
Okay.
elected, so I'm not sure you could do that.
No, we've had people,
I would think
Can
a
you?
board
Yeah.
member could sit out for any particular period of time.
I mean, that's kind of the role of the alternate, so step in.
Right,
Right.
Yeah, that's
exactly.
true.
yeah, I mean, like, if there's like,
Yeah.
I mean, God forbid, but like if someone had a health issue or something, right? Like,
I strongly suspect that John has a highly developed sense of responsibility, and so I
Yeah.
would like for him to,
So-
that we grant
No, where I-
him
right,
we want
so-
him to not come if at all.
Right, and where I was just reelected, my plan is to try to continue on with it, but if it becomes too much, obviously, my first priority is to make sure the finances of the town are running well, make sure the town manager's office is running well, and so only as a last resort would I, look at stepping back
It
from.
will be more
We
than.
have a capable backup.
Right.
We do, and it'll be more than understood, absolutely.
Thank you.
So feel free.
All right,
Thank you.
last item of the minutes. So let's do the April 8th minutes first.
All right, move to approve the minutes of April 8th, 2026.
Motion by Mike,
Second.
second by Joel. All in favor? Aye.
I abstain.
Anita abstains.
All right. And
So
then we
it-
have the joint meeting minutes, too.
Yep, and the joint meeting minutes.
I move to approve the joint meeting minutes of April 8th.
I abstain.
Motion by Mike,
I'll second.
second by Anita. All in favor? Aye.
I abstain.
And,
And it says I was present, but I wasn't.
oh,
She missed that part of the meeting. She was here for the other
oh, that's
part.
right. All right,
I fell
so,
asleep on my couch.
so we'll have to make that edit that Deirdre was not present, and
This was the
She was,
tri-board?
she
This
was
is
not
the
present for the
joint.
joint meeting.
that's right, she was not
I
present.
came in at the
Oh, I
end.
wasn't there.
You were there for the joint meeting because you had to run the finance
You
part
were
of it.
there for the.
Yeah, you were
joint
there.
meeting.
There, you're listed.
Was it the one at the library that I missed? that you-
No.
No.
It was here. We It was
No,
one
this
Oh my
is-
God.
the
Oh my
lighting
God.
bylaw.
That was the last planning
Oh my
board
God,
meeting,
what is
wasn't it?
wrong with
Sleep.
you?
That was the last planning board
Are you
meeting.
still
I
abstaining?
don't
That was
know.
the last one.
You
wasn't
can't
it?
abstain. You were there for that one. I don't think you could abstain.
Yes, yes, so, like,
still
can I
abstaining?
change? No, can I vote in favor? Well, no, I
Yes.
didn't.
Yeah,
oh,
sure.
we didn't-
We didn't
Yes.
vote on
Yes,
this
you can
yet.
vote.
Okay.
We haven't voted yet because we got to take Deidre's name off of it.
Yeah.
She wasn't
Okay.
here.
Oh my God, I
other
really
one she
do
was
need to
staying
go to
for.
bed and get a good night's
So
sleep.
you abstained from the other one,
Yes.
okay. Now,
But she was here.
for this one,
Right, but you were here for the other one, so why are you abstaining from it?
because she
I
didn't read it.
Oh, okay.
Technically, I didn't read this one either. but-
It's
So-
fast. We got 5-7.
Yeah, so Anita and Deirdre abstained from this past vote,
Yes.
for the record.
No, the last vote I voted.
No, the
This-
vote for the joint
Tri-
meeting.
the joint
The one we
Oh,
just
okay.
took, the vote
We,
for joint.
we already voted on that.
Oh, I missed the, You voted on it.
You voted, and we said, oh, wait a minute, you weren't here for that part of it.
Boy, is everybody in here
So we voted for that.
Not just me.
We're
It-
gonna take you out.
Anita and Deirdre abstained. Everyone else voted in favor. So we approve the minutes. I will take.
My
So
only question
moved.
is the person who abstained able to second?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
And I'm just gonna say this, someone, when we get these meeting minutes, we should really read
Yeah.
this last section.
That's why I'm summarizing again.
Yeah.
For AI. So I will take a motion.
So moved.
Motion by Mike. All in favor?
Aye. Going to bed.
Everyone's gone.